And welcome to Poker Night Live, the only show that brings you live Texas Hold'em poker 7 nights a week, alongside expert commentary from our team of experts like this wonderful man right here. Now, if you're wondering why we're having a bit of a chuckle, it's because we were having a bit of a dance over the entry song there.
We were.
And you got a bit mad, got so excited.
Yes, I did some great somersaults with the pen, but the last one, unfortunately...
It's down there now.
Down there.
So he won't be taking any notes, I'm afraid, but that's all right.
Sorry.
But the dancing was great, and you've all missed it, so I do apologize. It was probably the best bit of the show so far. Anyways.
There's plenty more to come.
Oh, there's plenty more to come. And this is a live and interactive show, just like always. So that means that you pretty much dictate what we talk about by text or by email. So get in touch with us here in the studio. You can send us a text on 62211 if you want to request any particular dance moves or anything. Then you can send us an email, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Or indeed, if you want to have your say, you can ring 0906 200 7080 and leave a message or a question, which will be read out on, or sorry, not read out on the air, it'll be played out live on air. But do make sure that you ask for permission, because there is a bit of a charge for that one. It's one of those premium rate numbers. There you go. Right, so tonight we've also got a phone-in coming up as well from Tony TK Kendall. A man I believe you know.
I know him very well. I hope that'll be quite interesting.
I think it probably will. And also we've got all of our regular tables as well. We're just absolutely jam-packed full of poker goodness tonight.
Okay, shall I take you around the tables,
Yes,
Clara?
please, why don't you?
Off we go then. We're commencing with a $5 sit and go.
Ah.
And there we go. It's on the 3rd level, and we've lost 3 players already. Whoops, and we're going to the heady heights of $20. It's a $20 sit and go, just started. Everyone start with 1,000 chips. Look, there's hardly been a hand played. In fact, just one hand starting now. We're there at the berth. And the baby cash game, 25.50 cents. Snap It's got aces already. How does he do it?
How does he do it?
Yes, one of our regulars, Tragic Trev, last night, he was in blistering form, turned $50 into about over 150, I think.
Oh, well done, Tragic Trev.
Yeah, very impressive.
It certainly is.
Green, green, green. It's 115 runners tonight, 15 tables. It's multi-table tournament time. And I think apparently we were down to 78 players. There was 115 to start with. There's 10 tables left, and we will be revisiting that MTT at regular intervals and hopefully be there for the final. Because the finals of that are great.
They are fantastic. That is my very favourite bit, actually. It's quite exciting.
Loads of play. Good to watch.
I haven't actually played a multi-table myself yet, but it's something I'm building up to. I'm actually quite looking forward to it.
I think
rubbing my hands with glee.
I think you're getting the hunger to play now.
I really am. You say that because right before we were playing, or before we were on air here, I was sat here going, I really want to play a game. I really want to play a game. But I get to play one later, so there you go. It's going to be Beat the Presenter, and Great Scott's going to be playing, although I won't be playing under the name Great Scott.
Because you're going to rob other people's accounts.
That's right. Why use my own accounts, my own money, when I can use someone else's? I think maybe Nick Wealthall tonight is who I'll be. I haven't decided yet. Who's
He'll
going to
never know.
Exactly. He'll never know unless he's watching, and if he is, I am sorry. There you go. Right. So I am fibbing just ever so slightly. Right. But I think we should start with a bit of poker.
Okay, what about the $20 tourney? I think that looked pretty good.
Looks good to me.
Just started, hasn't it? There we go. Look at this. We're right at the start of this one. We've got some regulars there as well. Either, what do you call him, J.A. Cali or Jack Ali? Which do you want to call him?
Jack Ali?
Jack Ali, I quite like that. That's what I chose last night. Jack Ali, and we've got Snakey.
Wow. Now, I just have to say, you know what? The last time I was on, I believe I was on with Cass, and we saw a hand that must have been one of the rarest hands in all the land of poker. The guy had, what was it, I think 7, 9, and 10, or he had a 7 and a 9 of clubs in his hand.
Right.
And then an 8, 10, Jack, queen, and king of clubs all came on the flop, the turn, and the river. So he had a straight flush from 7 to king.
Unbelievable.
7, 8, 9, 10, jack.
Go, you're checking. Go, get your
Yeah,
fingers out. Get
I
your
know.
fingers. 7, 8, 9,
1, 2,
10,
3,
jack.
No, that's 7 cards.
King. Yeah, you got it.
Yes, I've got it right. But it was absolutely amazing. We made them show it to us twice because we couldn't quite believe it. So not only did he get a flush, and a straight flush at that,
You got an extended one.
it was unbelievable.
An extended straight flush.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm hoping for some of that kind of luck myself, I tell you.
Have you got any plans for tonight in the...
Well,
Are you feeling... What mood are you in? Are you feeling
I think
aggressive or cautious or
I'm feeling
cunning?
cagey.
Are you feeling cunning?
I'm
Are you
feeling
feeling
a bit-
deceptive?
I'm feeling very deceptive, very cagey, very cunning. I'm not giving away anything, and I'm going to be focusing a lot more this time.
Okay.
I say that every show.
Now, I played for the first time last night.
Oh, yeah?
And I didn't shower myself with glory, really, in my results, I'm afraid.
Okay.
I came 8th and 7th.
Oh, it's hard.
I must admit, got a bit distracted by the chat box.
I know. I'm glad it's not just me.
So
then.
I'll tell you what, don't get distracted by the chat
Yeah?
box. That'll be my advice tonight. You really focus on your game there
Okay.
tonight.
I'm going to give that a go, but I am notoriously bad at that. And they start chatting to me, and I feel
Oh, no,
it's
they're great
rude
fun.
to chat back, not to chat back, you know?
Yeah, but you can just say, sorry, I'm concentrating.
Yes. Sorry, I'm a newbie. Cut me some slack. I'm concentrating. I'm just saying it right now, actually, so that everyone
Okay.
hears it
You've
straight
been
at the
warned.
beginning. Yes.
Kara's concentrating.
They'll never believe it.
200 from Monty. He's got the top pair. Got an ace kicker. Looks pretty sweet. This is a sit and go tournament. This one costs $22 to enter.
Mm-hmm.
$2 goes to the house. All the rest of the money is returned as prize money. 50% to the winner, 30% to second,
Mm-hmm.
and 20% to third.
I see. That's a very nice return then for your $22.
Yes, it is, and they're great fun. The game all starts from that little white button with the D on it, which is the D represents dealer. It's a dealer's button. Of course, no one has to deal here. It's all done for you. It's a lazy man's game. And to the left of the dealer is a small blind, which is then followed by the big blind. So in this case, Stanta's was a small blind and Jack Alley was the big blind. The betting then carries on round in a circle, clockwise. And that dealer's button moves around the table clockwise, one space at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's got to pay their blinds.
And the blinds don't stay static, do they, in a tournament like
Not in a
this?
tournament. That's the difference between tournament play and money play.
Mm-hmm.
In tournaments, the blinds go up. And in this tournament, it's quite fast, I have to admit. It goes up every 10 hands.
Right.
So the next level will be 20-40. So, whereas in a cash game, where the blinds stay the same all throughout the session of the cash game, in a cash game, of course, you've got more time, you're not under pressure, plus if you lose chips, you can bring some more on the table, as long as you've got some in your bank, or pinch some from Nick Wellfall's. And
Which I advocate, by the way.
But you don't have to be under pressure, so you can be more selective with your hands. Whereas in a tournament, you'd like to be selective, but unfortunately there's the pressure of time and the pressure of those blinds going up. So sometimes we're forced into making moves because we haven't been able to find a hand in time.
That's right.
So sometimes we've got to play situations. But in the early stages, when the blinds are small, we have got time, because time is basically the relation of our stack, our chip stack, the relationship of our chip stack with the size of the blinds.
Right.
So when the blinds are 10, 20, and you start with 1,000, you've got an awful lot of play.
True.
So this means you have got time to be selective for this period.
Right, now I'm going to ask you a question about this very thing.
Yes.
Because I've had from different commentators, as I've been asking for advice on my own play, a couple of different thoughts on this.
All right.
Now, some people say be very selective with your starting standards in the beginning of a tournament. You don't have to play because of the blinds being so low. So don't get yourself sucked into any big pots unless you have really premium starting hands. Other people, however, would say because the blinds are so low, you can afford to see a lot more flops, even if you don't have the premium starting hands, and your starting standards can actually be lower. So what's your take on that?
Right, so what determines this is not just a predetermined idea. Where we decide what to do is when we look at what style the table is.
Right, okay.
So therefore, is this a very passive table, or is it a very aggressive table, or is it a middle-of-the-road table?
Right.
Do we know any of the players? Do we know what styles they play? So if we've got information, now, according to what information we've got, that will determine what style we play.
Right.
So it's not just a set rote what we do. As a general principle, the correct general principle, I believe, is because the blinds are small, is that we shouldn't be taking great risks.
Okay.
Because no point trying to steal the blinds, because if you win 30 and you've got a stack of 1,000,
Right.
it makes no difference.
Yeah.
So therefore, you'd be taking a big risk for very small reward. And we know
That is not the ratio that we want. The
Yes.
risk-reward ratio, very important.
the 3 R's. We
That's
know
right.
that wouldn't tie in. Right, but what you can do in these cheaper stages is, in late position,
Right.
I think if it's a passive table, you can limp in with suited connectors,
Right.
with a small pair, with quite a few hands, because you say this table's not raising too much anyway. And now, from then on, you're only playing if you really connect.
Right.
You don't play if you half connect. If you play with 6, 7 suited and you hit a pair of 6s, well, forget it. You haven't hit it. This is not a hit. This is just a minor
Even
tickle.
if you've got triple sixes?
No, I said if you hit... No, if you just make 1 6,
Oh, I
would make
see.
1 pair
Gotcha,
of 6s.
gotcha.
It's nothing. So you just say that's nothing, and someone bets, say, I'll chuck it away.
Exactly.
So
Bottom
you
pair,
at least
nothing.
want to hit 2 pairs.
Okay.
You'd love to flop a straight.
Yeah.
Maybe if you hit an up and down straight and flush draw, this is a pretty powerful hand. You'd like to hit trips. 1 pair, no, chuck
No.
it away. You don't try and battle away with this because the blinds are small. You don't need to take risk for that reason.
Gotcha.
So you can call with your small pair. You're basically playing it as a drawing hand. You want to hit the trips, and now you've got a chance to win a big pot.
Gotcha.
Now, if you're taking a risk there and you end up losing your chips,
Oh, I think we've got something happening
oh, yes,
here.
we have got something. It's a
Oh, a flush.
flush against flush. There we go. It was Tim's had got the queen high flush, and Stanter's, who already had an ace on the flop, had the flush draw, so it was a very powerful hand, and he ended up making the ace flush.
Ooh.
And yeah, so then that's Tim gone already. And Queen 3, of course. Again, if I'm in early stages, I probably would advocate if you're limping, I would want to limp with a hand which would give me the nuts, so at least
Okay.
I'd know where I was. So therefore you could limp with your ace small suited in late position, because you know if you hit your flush, you've got the nut flush.
Okay, and everyone really basically knows what you mean by limping, but just for those new players out there who aren't quite sort of au fait with the poker lingo, can you describe to us exactly what it means to limp?
Yes, limping means, say, if the blinds are 10, 20, and now it's someone's pass or someone just calls, and now you're, say, in 6th position, you just limp in, i.e. you just call for 20. You just limp.
Okay, so it's sort of the minimum that you can
Yes.
do. You're just putting in the minimum bet.
Yes,
No raise
that's
whatsoever.
Right. But you've got to throw it in with a limp wrist as well.
do you?
Yeah, yeah. It's part of the
I
game.
see. How do you do that online?
You click with the one and you use the other wrist as a
I
limp one.
see, I
Yes.
see. See, there's so much about poker I don't know yet. Amazing.
Well, there we go. 6 players left, and we're still on the we're still only on the first level.
We are indeed,
This is
and
what
we've
you
already
want-
lost 2
This
people.
is what you want them to do when you're on. You want them
Oh.
to commit suicide early.
But they don't. They play so incredibly
Tonight
tight.
They'll go a bit loopy tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
You figure? Nah, I hope so. I'm
You're
not giving
you're
anything
not
away.
convinced?
I doubt it. I've played quite a few tournaments now on this the presenter slot, and they do tend to be quite tight in
They're
their
like
play.
rocks.
They don't want to go out first. No one wants to go out first.
Ah, right.
And they all want to kind of knock
Maybe-
out the presenter.
Maybe you'll play different tonight then.
Absolutely. It might happen. It might not. See, I'm giving nothing away.
You might come out all guns blazing.
Too right. Hard to say. I don't know.
You're not revealing.
I'm not going to give anything away. I've been so guilty of being incredibly loose with all of my poker play. Don't look at me like that. You know, letting people know what I'm going to do. All my tells, I'm breathing audibly, for crying out loud. They can tell if I'm breathing heavily or if I sigh. They know I've got. It's terrible.
No, they're just dreaming of you breathing heavily. Don't worry.
Who are? Now, see, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wear my sunglasses and my hat pulled over my eyes.
Ah, right.
No one's going to have a clue. And yeah, I'm going to put a mask over my face.
Yeah.
You can't hear me breathing. I've got
Actually,
it all
switch
worked
your
out.
mic off, that's it.
Well, they do, but you can still hear me apparently.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah, I think they got me as well, yeah.
Yeah. And once I got a really great hand and I started doing a little victory dance, quietly, of course, and the studio, the lovely people that they are there in the gallery, they cut back to us on air. So everyone on the show knew what I had. Nice.
It's tough.
Just like this.
Look at that, you see?
Thanks for that.
You've got to be on your mettle all the time here.
No kidding. Can't even have a cheeky little dance.
Okay, GTRR. Limps with ace-2 offsuit. I don't like that because that is really a peculiar hand. You know, if you hit your ace, you're not going to be particularly happy. I don't like that. I think that is a poor hand to limp with, especially in early position.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what Jack Ali does. He's hit the bottom pair, but he checks.
Do you think if GTRR made a bigger bet, had pushed all in, it would have bumped Jack Ali off?
Well, we can see that it would, but I think Jack Ali should have bet himself. He was the one who connected with the flop.
Yeah.
So he could have actually asked the question. By checking, he just left the door open for GTRR to possibly put in a bet.
Right,
now,
and catch a card.
Jack Ali wouldn't have known what the bet meant. Does it mean he's got a hand, or does it mean he's bluffing me?
Yeah.
So in the end, he just doesn't know where he is. Now, if he was just prepared to throw away the threes, that's fair enough. But he could have put in a small bet with the threes, just to test the water, I think.
Okay.
But if he doesn't, then he has to be prepared to throw it away if the other guy bets. But that's okay as well, because he doesn't have to get involved with that hand early on.
Okay.
Monty there, a real hand, a pair of queens, and he's up against another real hand, a pair of eights. And the pair of eights is checked. He doesn't like the jack or the ace. The queens doesn't like the ace. So I'm surprised he got so nervous, though. And how he didn't get more money in on the flop is amazing.
Yeah.
And so the eights is taken over, but Monty doesn't get put off. He's got all those chips. He can certainly afford to call it and has the best hand anyway.
So let's see what GTR does now from the small blind.
Makes up the small blind with 3-7.
I don't know. It's not a really...
And now he can't call, so he's just done an extra 20. There we go. Charwell with his ace does a big bet, takes it down. Yes, I think if it's early stages, you see, the thing is, from what he gains just playing limping in there, he's likely to get bet off it anyway, because he's not going to call any raise.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gain something by not making up, because then whenever, if you don't make up, and then do make up, you're indicating strength just by making up another time.
Yeah. So
if you just call all the time, I don't think it's necessarily right. And these early stages, he also hasn't got so many chips. So he really wants to keep those chips to have a really good punch with.
Yeah,
because he hasn't got so many left anyway. He's below halfway already, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just over 10 times
so
a big
he can't
blind.
afford frittering. If he had more chips, he could have probably afforded to make up the small blind.
Okay.
But because his chips, he has less chips, his chips are worth more money technically.
Yeah.
They're more valuable because there's less of them.
Right.
So because they're more valuable, he shouldn't just be making up a small blind with 7-3 offsuit, because he's putting in gold-plated chips with 7-3 offsuit.
Right, because they are much more
valuable. If he had a
to
massive
him.
stack of chips like Monty, he could afford to make up with the 7-3, because if he had to pass, so what? He doesn't notice the difference. It's what your wealth is like. Full house there for Sister Snaky.
Yeah.
And trip aces for Monty.
Oh, I bet he thinks he's got that, Monty. Ouch. Okay, well, I'm going to have to keep an eye then on what I do in early stages.
Yes.
Okay, right. I always find it interesting to watch the people like Monty and Stanters who have a bigger chip stack now, or even Snaky, and how they're playing, what they're doing that's different, what marks them out from the rest of the players, what is it that they're doing, because it's not just luck. I mean, there is a certain amount of luck involved, but what are they doing that the other players are not doing that means that that's the reason behind their larger chip stacks?
Well, sometimes the largest chip stack early isn't necessarily the sign of a good player, because maybe, actually, ironically, they were taking more risks than they should have done,
Okay.
or they might have actually just picked up a really big hand. So it's how
Right.
they got their chips is more indicative than rather how many chips they've got.
Okay.
So you can't just let the size of the stack determine how good the player is, that's for sure.
I see. So size is not always all that important.
Definitely not, I'm glad to say.
And we'll leave it at that.
Technique is far better. Watch how he got the chips.
I see, I see. I will indeed.
7 King 3 is the flop, so Jack Ali likes it. He's got the top pair with an ace kicker. Pair of fours for GTR. Looks like the end of the road for him, but it's not, and he's pinged a 4 on the turn.
Very nice.
He's
Very lucky.
Very lucky, but he's singing and dancing.
And he might get paid off on this as well.
Well, yes, he's all in anyway, so he's just there
Oh,
for...
of course, yeah. So he can only win
But
back
I don't know
what he's
what
put
on
in.
earth Ace-Queen's called for. That is a very, very poor call by Charwell.
Yeah.
I just could not see any sense to that at all. He hadn't hit any part of the flop, and he's called the rest of his money. I mean, I don't know why he stayed in there.
Well, GTR just managed to get back some chips from Charwell that Charwell took from him and knocked him straight out of the tournament as well.
Well, actually, Jack Ali knocked him out of the tournament.
Well, true, yes, because
he was the one who had him covered, because GTR, of course, was all in.
Yeah.
So when he's all in, he can only win the amount of money he had in front of him.
True, from all of the different players.
From as many players who had him covered, yes, that's right. And the rest was a side pot. The side pot was quite big in this case, because that's what Jack Ali ended up with.
Yeah, absolutely. That is something to keep in mind.
And GTR's getting on a bit of roll now. He's got trips again. Trip 2s this time.
Ace 2 for Snakey.
Yeah, and pair of sevens raises it up. And I think he should put a bet in here. About pot 320, he should bet about 200. Bit weak, 120, but it was good enough apparently, and Snakey passes. Well, will we see a raise from Monty? He's got chips, he can pressure the other people.
Yeah.
Because his chips aren't as valuable to him, he's got a lot of them. And he's got an ace.
Do you target weaker players or players with smaller chip stacks at this sort of level?
I'd be more likely to target the people with average stacks.
Okay.
It's better than, they're probably the best ones, because they're just going around about average, so they're sort of reasonably, they're a little bit comfortable, and they might be prepared to say, oh, but I don't want to put that in because it'll knock me below average.
Yeah.
So they're more defensive in a way. Whereas sometimes if you just attack the low stack, they might have reached the end of their tether, and they might say, oh, go on, and I'll call anyway.
Right, yeah.
So if you're actually stealing...
Right, maybe don't pick someone who's so desperate that they will just see what happens.
And then the very big stack, well, he's obviously got you matched, or you're very close together, so you don't particularly want to run into a head-on collision with him.
Right.
So probably the average stacks are good ones to fight against.
Okay, okay. All being, taking notes all up here, all up in my head.
I mean, if the low stack's very, very... If you've got a reasonable hand, though, then that's good against the low stack. If you think you've got a... Because now... You can, if you've got a good hand, you can fight the low stack now, because you say, right, I'll fight you now. I might be a 60-40 favourite. If you win, at least you're not going to hurt me so much.
Right.
But I'm going in favoured against you, so you're quite a nice opponent to have. You're not going to hurt me too much, but if I win, I'll be happy because I'll be marching further on, and there'll be one less person in the tourney. So in that case, we like the small stack in that case.
Gotcha.
When we've got a real hand.
Yeah.
If we're stealing, or semi-stealing, as I said, that's where we have to be careful, because that small stack, as I said, might be at the end of their tether and be just a bit too brave for us.
Right.
And call when we want them to pass.
Yes. Okay. This is part of the poker thinking, not just thinking about what your cards are, think what your opponent is thinking as well.
Yes,
what kind of status...
Are you in tune with that?
I am, yeah. Do I look a little bit blank, don't I?
No,
I'm just trying to process it.
No, I thought you were in tune with it.
Yeah,
I got it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But can you understand the logic to it?
Absolutely,
Right.
yeah. You're right, because if someone is scared, if they're short stacked anyways,
Right.
they
Now,
might
have
just
you
push all
actually,
in.
when you've been at a table, have you actually been thinking about that?
A small amount, to be honest. More, I'm thinking quite basic levels of poker
Okay.
at the moment.
I mean, I'd be surprised if, I'm not being funny, I'd be surprised if you had thought about that at the
Yeah,
table.
no, I got to be honest. I've not yet really.
Right.
I'm
But
starting
don't worry, because
to
that's
think
normal.
about it.
A lot of people never do. So,
Okay.
But it is something now, but be prepared to look beyond. I've been trying to stress this
Yeah.
recently. Be prepared to look beyond, is this a call, is it a raise or whatever.
Right.
One has to say, is this a call? And if I call, what happens next?
Right. Yes. What do I hope is going to happen? And
What happens
will
when I
do
miss
if
my card?
That doesn't happen.
What happens next?
Yeah.
Does that person bet? We have to look ahead, and we've got to try and look into our little crystal ball.
Okay.
And that should help us now to determine if we should be calling. Because if we just look at the hand, shall we call, it's not enough. We've got to think about the whole picture.
Okay. So how tight do you think I should be? Looking at these pre-flop folds even. Stancher's at about 80%. Is that
I think
about
early
right?
stages, that's probably about right. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that GTRR is up far too loose.
As we've seen, yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing a lot
And he's
of
been a bit lucky, hasn't he?
flops.
He's got in there, a pair of fours, hit the trip, then he hit trip two, so he survived through a bit of good fortune, really. How is Stanters doing? Oh, he's chip leader, I think.
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he's been selective, he's been biding his time, and it's probably, I think, the way to go, early stages.
Okay.
Still be selective if you can.
Bearing it in mind. This is me bearing it in mind.
Okay, yeah, it was Stanter's chip leader, very comfortably positioned at the moment with 2,885 chips.
Now, if anyone out there has any questions about poker, you do need to let us know here in the studio. I've got the expert here on call all evening, just ready to answer all of your questions. So you can text us, you can email us, even if they're really simple questions, that's fine, because this is amateur night or beginner night. So even the smallest ones, if it's something that we've been saying that you're not quite sure what the terminology we're using means, even something as simple as that, do ask us, because we'll be happy to explain pretty much anything poker related
Yeah,
here
all
tonight.
questions are really welcome. But do send us emails. We do love you to interact with us. It's a great part of the show when you do.
Absolutely. It makes it a lot of fun as well for us here in the studio to hear from you what you like and what you don't like, what kind of poker ideas you're having out there. So poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. That's the email address that you can get in touch with us here.
Snakey's got the ace-king. What's he going to do here? Yep, he raises up there. The blinds are 80-160. He's called the 160, raised 160. Stanters gives him respect, puts it down. So we've got 5 front runners left. 9-4. Should chuck that away.
You think he will? I don't know. He's been seeing, oh, he does. Maybe now that the stakes are a bit higher, he's going to be a little
But
tighter.
unfortunately, he has to be actually now looking to play because he's actually he's under pressure now, we can see, because he's only got 670 and the blinds are 81-60. So each round is going to cost him 240.
Oh, he doesn't have much left in him then.
He doesn't, no. So therefore, he really has to be looking for a play. In fact, now he's going to have no choice because he's going to be putting 160 in this next time anyway because it's going to be his big blind. Right, Snakey there has got a middle pin straight draw, needs a 6, puts out a bet, takes it down. Good bet. Oh, he's found a hand, GTRR. Fantastic.
That is good. And you know what? If he does go
What
all
would you
in
do with
here,
the Kara? What would you do?
oh goodness.
Would you have called? Would you have raised? What would you have done?
I probably would have sat there watching the little timer bar go down, and I probably would have pushed all in, to be honest.
I think push all in was the correct play.
Yeah, okay. But then I don't think, for the way that GTRR has been playing, if he had pushed all in, people would have believed him.
It doesn't matter because he's just got, at that stage, time had run out. He's found about the best hand he could hope for. He's already got money committed in the pot. He hasn't got so much left. Okay, the guy has raised, but he was in late position, so it didn't have to be the best hand in the world. As it happens, he was actually a slight favourite because he had ace-10 against the king-queen. He was about a 55% favourite. Oh, probably a tad more because he was about 57% favourite because he was suited. And he should have actually pushed all in straight away. I don't know why he only just called.
Right.
He kept a diddly bit anyway.
Yeah.
He just might as well pushed it all in.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking at there. Okay. Right, now I suppose that if you are thinking you only have maybe 2 or 3 rounds left, or even hands left, because he was so short stacked, the best hand you could hope for, I suppose ace-10 suited is got to be one of those best hands that you could hope for.
It's not a brilliant hand, but at that stage it's good. You know, he's...
Because the average hand has got to be a lot worse than that.
Yeah, he's against the king-queen there. He's going to, I've just checked, he's going to win 62% of the time there. Ace-10 suited against the king-queen.
Okay. And he seems to be doing pretty well now.
Yeah, he's back in business because this game can swing round dramatically. Once you have a double up and win another pot, you're suddenly back in business because the game is now getting expensive. So the thing is, because things can change so much now, that's why early on you shouldn't be taking so many risks, because early on to win the same amount of money you've got to be in more hands.
Right.
When later on you can win the same amount of chips just with one hand. Because
I see.
The pot is going to be that much bigger. So basically in a tournament, you want to go to showdowns as few times as possible. If you can take pots down, it's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Because there's no risk then.
Yeah.
But the more times you go to a showdown, even if you're favourite, eventually...
Someone's going to catch something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even if you can be 6-4 on, 6-4 on,
Yeah.
6-4 on, well, you're not favoured to win 3 in a row.
True.
Even when you're 6-4 on.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. So
Yeah.
therefore, the less times we go to the showdown, the better,
Okay.
and the more chance we have of winning the tournament. So therefore, if we can use our power in No Limit Hold'em to take down pots, that's a very good tactic.
Okay. Do you make it a practice to muck your cards if you push someone off of a pot so that people can't see what you were playing with, just in case?
I generally don't show my cards.
Okay. Goodbye to Jack Alley. There we go.
Yep. And
Down to 4.
GTR is chip leader now, from smallest stack to chip leader. Look at that. The gods were with him when he needed them.
They certainly were. Some erratic play from him, and it seems to be paying off.
But let's see what happens to him now. Let's see how he plays now. Maybe he'll really get into tune now and show us what he can do.
Ah.
Monty, ace-10. Yeah, he decides to represent. He's got something here, and GTR calls with 6-9.
Really?
That is mind-boggling.
Because what are you hoping is going to happen there if you're calling? It's not like you're saying I've got a superior hand.
Unbelievable. I can't understand that call.
That's a bit of a waste of money, that.
I think it was a waste of money. I mean, if he thought that the guy didn't have anything, what should he do?
Put in a nice big raise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't
scare
just
him off
call
the
with a
hand.
320.
Yeah.
If we ask him, say, why did you call? He say, well, I didn't think he had much.
Yeah.
Really? Well, don't call 320. Call and raise 1,000 more.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And if you're right, he hasn't got anything, which he was right. The guy didn't have anything. He can't call it.
Yeah.
Because he thinks you've got something. But just to try and call it and try and hit a 6 or a 9, which mightn't be good enough because the guy might have a hand anyway, is bizarre.
True. Very true.
So that's the thing to remember. I've often heard people say, oh, well, I didn't think he had much. Well, bet him out of it then. Because he won't, if you're right, he will not call. So that's how to fight it, not just trying to hit some miracle.
I think if it was me and I'd done that, it would be because I didn't think he had much, but I was scared that he did, and I wasn't trusting my instincts. So maybe there is something to be said.
Then.
Exactly. That's my issue, I think, is I don't really trust my instincts with what's happening.
So therefore pass the hand.
Really?
Then. The 6-9?
Passing all the time.
But you can't, well, you wouldn't have called with a 6-9.
No, I wouldn't have
You'd have passed, I think you'd have passed it.
No, yeah. Oh, definitely.
Snakey's gone now. There he had the 4-king, he had the top pair, but unfortunately he'd walked into Stanters, who had American Airlines.
Wow, we're down to the 3 in the money now.
Yeah, they're all in the money now. And Stantas is back to his, I think, probably rightful position as chip leader. Played a pretty solid game. He's got just over half the chips. And Monty's got a pair of 9s, but GTR has got a pair of 9s with a jack. The better kicker decides the pot. King, Queen, 9. Straight draw for Stantas. Oh, he's now hit the 7. He doesn't, he just... And but pair of 9s for GTR wins it. A raise from Monty with 10 Queen. Good aggressive play. Call by Queen 8 by GTR. He hates to put a hand down, does GTR. Monty bets with nothing. Wow, really asked the question. Surely GTR can't call this. No, he doesn't this time. Good bet from Monty. Did a raise, followed it up. Continuation bet. Whoa, aggressive play from Stantas. Look at that, he's picked his moment. And he's really used his chip stack well there. That's an excellent bit of change of gear from Stantas. I'm well impressed. He's been playing a very solid game. All of a sudden he changes gear, in position, not too special a hand, asks the question. They think he's hardly played a hand. We'll have to pass.
Yeah, well done.
Very
Create an
good.
image and then use it to your advantage.
Very good. Exactly right, Kara. Create an image, but make sure, if you know what image you've got, then take advantage of it. Oh, Stantas is really cranking up now.
Oh my goodness.
Had a reasonable hand that time, however, short-handed. Oh, is he going to do it again?
Up against Monty with an ace-5.
Yep.
What's Monty going to do?
Raised it up again. I think Monty will pass.
Wow. My goodness. He's on quite a roll there.
Yeah. GTR, oh, just calls. And this looks horrible for GTR. Stantas has hit the jack, and we know GTR hates putting hands down. I mean, I don't see how you can call it, but he wouldn't surprise me if he did. No, well done, GTR. You passed that one. But just calling, he hasn't got enough chips just to call.
Yeah.
This is a game, if you call, you have to win the hand on merit. If you bet, you might win the hand because your opponent passes. This is a huge difference between calling and betting.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so short-handed as well. Your hand doesn't have to be that good.
GTR's all in there,
merit.
5-10, got an up and down straight, 10 Jack, Queen, King. Stantas got the ace.
Ooh.
And it's all over for GTR. Stantas with the ace. Knocks him out.
Yeah, but a nice bit of play there from GTR. Some really erratic stuff. Kept me guessing. Certainly has lasted longer than I have in a tournament. Well, not exactly, I suppose.
GTR, I would say, just I don't like all your calling. I think you should just learn to bet a bit more rather than call, would be my advice. If you're just calling, you should really be trying to be deceptive and have a massive hand and be trying to trap them. But just calling with rubbish is a peculiar thing. And there's Stantas. King 10 is good enough against the 5 Jack, and he is the winner. We look at our world famous chip movement graph.
Wow.
There's Stantas, the powerful, clear black line, steadily moving along to start with, making all his progress towards the end, just as a classic sit-and-go player should play.
See, it just looks like silly string to me. But I imagine it was classic, and I'll go with classic. It sounds better than silly string.
Silly string, is this a Canadian thing? Or?
But, you know, in the cans that you spray and the string comes out?
Oh, I thought it was called silly string.
Silly string. It just looks like that to me, to be honest.
Is that the
Sorry.
English term for it? Okay, apparently it is.
Apparently it is. Yeah. There you go. See, people know what I'm talking about. It's not just
I
talking
knew
to
what you were
myself
talking
here.
about, but I
Thanks
wasn't
very
aware of
much.
the phrase.
There we go. It's not just because I'm foreign. Anyways.
Foreign.
Foreign. We've got an email for you. I'm going to be testing your poker mettle now. Are you ready? Are you
Is it
prepared?
a foreign one?
It's not a foreign one. Don't make fun of me because I talk funny.
I like the way you talk.
Thanks very much. Right, this is an email from Michael. Michael says, hello, Poker Night Live. Hiya, Michael. Today I played in a $3 multi-table tournament with 1 hour of rebuys with 190 players. I'd been playing for almost 3 hours without a rebuy, sitting 8 out of the 11 players left, but only 10 places were paid. This is very important. I was sitting with 25,480 chips. Blinds were at 1,500 and 3,000. Now I was dealt queen, queen. Everyone folded before me, so I raised it 24,000 to go. The dealer and the small blind folded. The big blind, who had 35,000 chips, called. The flop came 6, king, jack. The big blind raised with 1,480 left. I had no option but to call. The showdown, the big blind chose king, queen, and I leave the multi-table tournament in 11th place, out right before the money, so that's quite painful. Now he says, I play quite a lot of MTTs, mostly finish in the last 30, and 9 times out of 10 I finish in the money at single table tournaments also. I've not tried cash games of yet. Would you have called if you were the big blind? I personally would have folded king, queen. I don't like fishing at that stage. What if I hit nothing? Should I have gone all in, which I'm not a big fan of? Was it a bad play on my part? Was it a bad play by the big blind, although he won the hand? And thank you very much. So what do you think? If you were the big blind, and the big blind...
had king, queen.
He had king, queen.
And he's gone all in for 24,000. I think it's uncallable by the king, queen.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's very unlucky. It's a very poor call. He's got a good hand. He's got the third best hand in No Limit Hold'em, and he's made a really powerful bet with it. I think the only thing is the big blind actually thought that he probably didn't have much. That's why he was betting so big, and I think that's what tempted the guy to call with the king, queen. Okay, well, would you have just pushed all in though? Because it says he has 25,480 chips, and he raised. Oh, I see. The trouble is that the blinds are 1,500, 3,000. So although he's got 25,400, you know, each round is costing him 4,500. Yeah. So therefore, I suppose he left himself 1,480 chips. Oh, that's irrelevant. He's all in. He can't do anything with that. He has to put that in. He's pot committed with whatever comes on. Yeah. So why wouldn't he have just pushed all in at the start? Yes, he might as well have done that. I don't know. Would you think it might have made a difference? Pushed him off the pot for the sake of that sort of psychological. All don't think that would have made any difference. I think everyone knows he's going to put the 1480 in. Right. But he might as well have just pushed it all in to add the extra. Because what we're saying about No Limit Hold'em is we're very happy just to even take down the blinds, even with a good hand there. Right. Because he'd have got 4,500, which would have taken him up to 30,000. Right. So therefore, would have given him a bit more breathing space. And as we just said before, the more times you go to a showdown, the harder it is to win a tournament. Okay. The more times you can take down the chips without a showdown, without showing you the cards, the easier it is to win a tournament. Okay. So you wouldn't advocate being a bit more careful on the bubble as well? This is the difference between cash play and tournament play. In a cash play, we can have a hand like queens, and we can try and maximise our win with it. We can perhaps say, I want to have an opponent here, I want to bring him in here. If I lose, never mind, I'll do the same next time, and eventually I'm going to make money. Because if you call my queens with king, queen, I'm going to end up beating you in the long run. Right, true. But in a tournament, sometimes we have to get rid of people. He tried to get rid of people. You've done nothing wrong, you were just unlucky. Okay, well that was from Michael. And Michael, I hope you don't think that I was in any way denigrating your play. I'm just quite curious, because it's how I learn as well, from asking questions. We all learn from asking questions. It's the way to go. I think so. So thank you very much for the email, much appreciated. Do let us know, anyone else out there who has an email question about poker. But right now, we're going to go take a look at our multi-table tournament. Let's take a look. Is it bright green? I believe it. Oh, here it comes. And it is green. It is. Yes. Right, so we are down to the last 5 tables. There's 39 players left from 115. Motoring along there. I'll say.
And I wonder if our chip leader is here on this table. I don't quite know. I don't think so. All these chip stacks don't quite seem like they'd be enough to be a chip leader for the whole MTT. I've just been told that the chip leader would have about 12,000 chips.
Right.
On some other table somewhere in the ether.
Okay, and the average stack at the moment is, I think, 4,423.
Okay.
7 cents. Big bet from Lumas, 2,400. What did I call there? Beg your pardon. It was all in against the ace queen, but the ace queen had the ace on the flop, and he had a flush draw. Very powerful hand from Pigeonhead. Top pair and a flush draw, Kara.
Ah, I see.
That was a very strong coup from Pigeonhead.
Go Pigeonhead.
Coup. Kings for name exists. Makes it 900, 3 times the big blind. Lumas cranks it up. 3,600. Trouble for Lumas, I'm afraid.
Uh-oh.
Name exists, gets his chips in. He's got a club as well, and the kings.
Ooh.
Oh, but look at this.
And they're
3,
all
4,
saved.
5, 6, 7.
Wow.
What an escape for Lumas. Split pot.
Look at that.
Name exists had this all over. He had the pair of kings. He's even got the club, so he's got the flush draw.
Yeah.
Lumas didn't have anything to do with the flop at all. Yet look at it there on the board. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Share up the money.
Wow. So they shared it equal
That's
shares.
a stroke of luck
That's
for Lumas.
incredible.
Yeah, equal shares. What an escape.
No kidding.
Lumas, the great Houdini. Unbelievable, that
That
was.
is incredible.
Lumas gets an ace-jack now. Look at this, no mucking around, all in, he says. I'm not...
Ooh, Pigeonhead's got king.
Aussie calls with ace-10.
Ooh.
Wow. I wouldn't have called with ace-10. And there's the kings, he's come over the top.
Oh boy.
This is getting so fiery. Pair of 8 surely can't
Cannot
join in this.
play, no.
He might, you know, because he's only got 1,200. He thinks I'm getting a bit of value. He maybe should have called there, actually.
Yeah?
Yep. Because he wins a massive pot for himself, and he's getting pretty good value because there's all these other people in it who are covering his 1,000.
Right.
He's only got 1,200. He needs to do something.
I suppose so, huh?
Ace Kings called it. What have we got here?
Oh,
So the
boy.
kings in front. Pair of jacks, nothing else. The kings get it. Look at that. 0-0.
Ooh.
Stoker's out. Lumas is out. And Doc is wounded.
I think Pigeonhead must be the new chip leader for the multi-table tournament. That is incredible.
Is this an educated guess?
Well, it's an educated guess.
I'm sure you're spot on there. He definitely is.
There we
Look,
go.
we've had a switch. They're trying to keep us guessing there. They wanted to see if we noticed this was a different table. Well, we did.
We are a crack team of experts.
Because there's Noddykins.
Yes, and Buffy Be Good. Fantastic. Okay, so there's 4 tables left. That
Right.
means that the tables that were around have been broken down, and they've rescattered the players to the wind and created, or some of the tables anyways, and created 4 nice compact tables.
Okay.
So there we go. That's what happens in a multi-table tournament. We're going to obviously be coming back to that to show you what happens later on. And if you have any questions, any comments about the poker you've seen tonight, or about your own home games or poker in general, you can let us know here in the studio. You can text us on 62211. Ask James what you should be doing with your game, what he thinks of your strategy. You can email us poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And we'll be very happy to hear from you. Absolutely thrilled, because there is so much knowledge here. You need to tap into this. This is what I'm saying. And it's not just a pretty face, people. Seriously. Now, I do think that we've got someone coming on the line here. This is Tony T.K. Kendall, a friend of yours.
Yes.
And I believe we're going to try and see if we can get a hold of him right about
Let's
now.
have a chat.
And I do believe we have Tony TK Kendall on the line. He's one of our leading British poker players, wouldn't you say?
He definitely is. He's getting better and better as well.
Fantastic. Hi, Tony. How are you?
I've never been described as a leading British poker player before.
Have you not?
Good evening, Sarah. How are you? Good evening, James.
I'm great, thanks, TK. I haven't seen you on the travels for a little while. I think, where have you been in France, I believe, to start with?
Yeah, I went out to Monte Carlo last week, I think it was, for the EPT Grand Finale, which was a spectacular venue, wonderful competition. I think it was 950,000 euros to the winner.
Wow.
And a young American lad, I say young, he was about 9. He qualified online and not played live before. He played absolute incredible poker, fearless poker, and he's picked up nearly €1 million.
Wow.
And I don't know if he'll ever be able to do it again, but good luck to the lad. He didn't know what to make of life after that.
I'm not surprised. I saw some of these young Americans in Austria there were playing 20 sit-and-goes at one time.
These lads are just extraordinary, aren't they?
It's amazing. It's
They're like
scary.
poker machines.
They know no fear, you see.
That's right,
And,
they're absolutely fearless.
As they get older, then you learn fear, and perhaps they lose the edge of their game. But anyway, there is. After Monte Carlo, went up to Glasgow for the Blonde Bash.
How did that go?
For a couple of days for the the Blonde Bash went fantastic. The highlight was we resurrected the home internationals, England versus Scotland in football, and in a very tense and tight encounter, the score was Scotland 5, England 26.
Whoa!
So we started out, but there was a heads-up competition there. This is our second Blonde Bash, and the first Blonde Bash, the heads-up competition, which included 16 teams. There was one ladies' team, and they won it by some fluke.
By some
Careful,
fluke.
careful.
No, they brought a ringer in, and we objected. But we said, well, let them have their moment of glory. Well, we had Blonde Bash 2 last weekend. Another 16 or 18 teams entered. Would you believe the women won it again?
Tony, I'm going to warn you here, be careful, because Kara is a kickboxer, okay?
For me, female heads-up player, and the way the girls have won two in a row is quite extraordinary. They've got a very good game, and it ties in very nicely, actually, to this women's poker tour, UK Open, that I watched this week. But maybe we'll talk about that a bit later.
Okay.
There's some fantastic poker there. I mean, these girls are playing very strong. There's undoubtedly one or two weak players in the field, but the stronger players are quite extraordinary.
No, I've noticed myself that the general standard of ladies' play has really picked up, actually. I can see it when I've been travelling around in Austria. I just came back from Moscow myself, and there were some good, strong lady players in Moscow.
Whereabouts in Moscow did you go, James?
I played the Corona Casino there, TK.
Yeah, I went to Shangri-La last year, which is also in Moscow. I love the scene in Moscow. I absolutely adore it. Did you win any money?
I came third, TK, in the
Wow. Did you bring the money home?
I did, yes. I didn't even get stopped, so it was a good result.
It's not getting stopped that worries. It's the sound of them latex gloves. That's when you need to start getting worried.
I would have been.
I can imagine. That sounds horrifying. So what is your favourite international tournament then?
Of all tournaments? Well, I have to say, I really do enjoy the EWSOP in Vienna. And that will ring a bell with James, because I cashed in it last year or the year before last, and I believe James cashed in it this year. Low 20s, was it, James?
Yeah, exactly, low 21 actually.
Generally speaking, you can't have too many excuses in that comp, can you?
I'll tell you what, if that is a tournament I think I would like to play every year.
Isn't it wonderful? I mean, we sat there the first day, and it was hard to get my head around this, but I think we had, how many starting chips did we have?
10,000.
10,000. We were playing 7 levels, I think, on day 1.
Yeah, 1.5 hour levels there were.
90 minutes. We got to level 6, so if I'm not mistaken, it was 15300. 10,000 starting. Level 6, 15300 with a 25 ante. How about that?
It was real poker. I mean, I seriously would. I would definitely want to go there every single year. And also, the quality of the dealers in Austria is amazing.
Were absolutely splendid.
Sounds
they were
fantastic.
Not only that, but they actually were issuing out penalties for misbehaviour, which I was pleased to see.
Well, I'm going to have to break into your poker chat there, boys, because we're going to go to a break now. But we will have more from TK later, and more poker as well after the break. So make sure you stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Poker Night Live. We're here in the second hour of our show, bringing you all the poker that the world has to offer, pretty much. Texas Hold'em variety, of course, is what I'm saying. Now, I'm trying to desperately get into a game here online so that I can play in the Beat the Presenter slot so that people can actually, you know, have some fun beating me at poker, because let's be honest, that's what's going to happen. But while I'm trying to do that...
No, be confident.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm just trying to psych them out a bit.
Okay.
Maybe that's just, it's part of my game plan. I'm being a bit cunning,
Cute.
is all. Thank you.
Deception.
Cute? No, scary, ruthless, resourceful. Anyways, if you want to get in touch with us here in the studio, if you've got questions or comments, or if you'd like to give me some hints and tips for how to improve my game, you can text us here at 62211. Or, of course, you can send us an email, and that is poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Or if you want to have your say, get your voice on the telly, 0906 270 80, but do ask for permission because there's a bit of a charge for that. But all your friends get to hear your voice on the telly. How exciting.
Give it a go.
I know my friends enjoy it. Anyway, so you're going to take us through some tables, aren't you?
Yes.
And I'm going to desperately try and get on here.
Good clicking.
Okay, I'll be clicking like mad. So if you do hear it in the background, I apologize.
Okay, we're going to have a look at a cash game here. We've got the 25-cent, 50-cent cash game. We've got 7 players at the moment. The blinds are 25, 50 cents, as you can see. It's Loon Mass. They will pass around the small blind. Assidious, what's he going to do? He makes up the small blind. He doesn't miss. He misses the flop. And Scab has got an up and down straight, 3, 4, 5, 6. He needs a 2 or a 7. He pops in a little bet there, $1, and he takes it down. A semi-bluff. He didn't have anything, but he knows if he hits his card, there's a very good chance that he'll have the best hand. They all pass round to crumble. He's only got 7, 9. I think he'll throw that away. Give it a good long think. Maybe just playing another table. Hurry up, crumble. Okay, pass, pass. Scab makes up the small blind. We have a flop 4-2 jack. Scab hasn't got any part of that. Well, beg your pardon, he's got a middle pin straight draw. He needs a 3 to give him bottom straight. Snap It has got the top pair and the middle pair. 2 pairs for Snap It, which he checks. Obviously checking with strength. And what's he going to do now? Is he just going to call or is he going to pop in the raise? Let's wait and see. He puts in the raise straight away. Makes it 6. And he gets called by a pair of 5s. That's very adventurous by the 5s. Snap It, re-raising. Wow. Snap It now. He charges him again. 5. With a flush draw there, I think Snap It could have actually bet a little bit more. Because he doesn't know he's only got a pair of 5s and a 5 of clubs. I think actually Snap It could have actually charged him just a bit more there. Ace, Queen, 2, 10. Name exists. It's got the Queen. Assidious, pair of jacks. He raises up to 150, 3 times the big blind, gets called by Name Exists on the small blind. Name Exists has hit the middle pair. Is he going to bet? No, he doesn't. He just checks. Assidious tests the water there, finds out, and Name Exists just calls. Well, doesn't know where he is. No, he bets now. Assidious calls, not put off by the Queen or the King. And I think because Name Exists checked initially, gave Assidious the confidence to call that. 2-4, I don't think he'll be playing that. We can see on the button there, Name Exists has got King Kong waiting on the button. He can make this look like a steal. Yeah, nice size bet. Ivana Trump, oh, doesn't want to play. Hard lines, lovely position to get the big hand. Didn't really overbet, he made it $2, maybe he could have made it $1.50. Don't think it would have made a difference, so I think they're going to pass anyway that time. Ivana on the small blind, doesn't want to make it up. Tragic Trev there, seeing if he can repeat last night's great success. Pops in $1 with the middle pair. Takes it down. Under the gun, Assidious, pair of 9s. He just calls, playing it as a drawing hand. By that I mean he's hoping to ping a 9 on the flop. Tragic Trev, small blind. I think he'll make this up with the 10-jack. He does. Are we going to see a raise from Crumble? I think he should raise. And he does raise. Well done. Makes it $2.50 to play. Called by the 9s. And Trev passes. Well, no help for Ace-Queen. And as we can see, Assidious has got an overpair to the flop. And Crumble does a continuation bet. Bets 4. And Assidious comes back over the top. 4 with 4. And it's good enough. He's shouted out his strength. And Crumble didn't want to carry on. Good bet by Assidious, because he wouldn't have liked any card above his 9. He wouldn't have enjoyed seeing a 10, a jack, a queen, a king, or an ace. So therefore, any of those cards came, he just wouldn't know where he was. So he did the right thing to just ask the question there and then. Good play. Assidious bets $1. He's got the king. Tragic Trev in there with the queen 10. Don't think he should be calling this. He needs a jack. No, he puts it down. Snap it. Is he going to limp in? No, doesn't want to know. Playing very solid. Crumble, 10-5 on the button. Awkward hand, too big gaps between the 5 and the 10 for my liking. We'll have a look at some stats here. We've got the pre-flop action. On the left there we see the number of hands dealt. See Crumble is relatively a newcomer to the game, but he's done a lot of raising. So it'll be interesting to see if once he's played longer, if he keeps up this very aggressive raising percentage that he's got. We can see Loomis there is just coming in, calling a lot more than he's raising. But at the moment, it's not bearing him too badly because he's got $116. And the most you can start with in this game is $50, which is 100 times the big blind. And you can start for as small as $5. Loomis, what a dream. He's got trips there, trip jacks, how beautiful. Assidious 6-9. Thinking, thinking, thinking. And look at this, J-pairs, 8-10, fits perfectly. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He obviously is not so keen on being all spades, but listen, it's unlikely anyone's flopped a flush. And lovely hand. Ace King for Assidious. Winner, winner, winner. What we're going to see from Scab here, is he going to pop in a little raise? Yes, he does. Makes it 2. And wow, Loomas calls with Jack 8. Well, he's got position, is what we can say, but he has a dodgy hand. Crumble's got an even dodgier hand, 10-3. Scab, is he going to follow up? He's got a middle pin straight draw. Obviously feels he's good if he hits an ace as well, and he bets and he gets called by Loomas for the Jack 8, which is quite incredible call. And the bad news for Loomas is he's hit a Jack. And of course Scab has got the Jack with the ace kicker. So this could be quite ominous for Loomas, who's called again, and now Scab has no doubts where he is. Well, I suppose he might have. He could be worried about a queen. I beg your pardon. He would be worried about a queen making a straight. Is Loomas going to represent the queen? Yes, he does. He pops in 12. Scab's got 2 pairs. Is he going to think Loomas has got the queen? Well, it's a good try by Loomas here. I didn't like his original call, but a gutsy play now. It's touch and go here. Well done, he's taken it down. Well, that was a very... I didn't like the really adventurous call with the Jack 8. I wasn't keen on it, but in the end there, you saw the door open. You saw that your opponent checked. He didn't like the look of the straight there. And the door was open, you stepped right in, and you put in a chunky bet. You bet $12 and took it down. So good opportunism by Loomas there. Calling with the Jack 8, I think don't try that at home, basically, but he outplayed him in the end, so congratulations. Bit of flair. And it's all happening here now. We've got the raise from the ace-queen, called by Loomas with 8-7, called by Ivana Trump with ace-jack, pair of 5s. Wowee, they're playing loose as a goose poker here. J-pairs has hit the top pair. $8.75 in the middle, bets $5.50. Loomas doesn't call that one. Ivana, no connection with the flop. Surely can't be contemplated. No, pair of 5s, well that's very tough to call as well. Doesn't even like the 6, never mind the queen. And J-Pez takes it down, 57.50, well done. Ivana raises up to 2. Assidious 9-7 passes, and so does Snap It. Vanna, very healthy total there, $173.
So what do you think the biggest difference is between a cash game and a tournament then? Like in terms of strategy. Sorry, I've just sort of popped, my voice has just popped up out of nowhere. I've been trying to get onto a table here.
No, I was just sort of slightly suspicious about this really? Searching question.
Oh, really? Well, it's just been noted as I'm waiting to get onto a table here for a tournament myself that I could be actually commentating at the moment, and I'm being a bit lazy. Because I've been waiting here, finger poised over the mouse button, just waiting to get on. But I do feel a bit bad making you do this all by yourself.
Oh, right, you fooled me. I thought you were playing.
No, I've been waiting to get on.
Okay, that's
and I've let it be known as well that I'm going to be playing. I'm playing on table Coco, and I'm taking the 6th seat, so seat number 6, which is the 3rd one down on the left. So nobody take that seat.
Okay.
Or I will cry, please, please, please.
Let Kara have it.
Yes, please. Or I'm leaving and I'm never coming back. Anyways,
what name are you going to be under?
I'm going to be playing under Nick's name.
Which is?
It's Nick W, I think. It's not as good as Great Scott, but yeah. Well, I don't think he picked it, let's be honest. But there are only 2 players left on this table, so.
It's Browning.
Amazing. No, I like Great Scott. I don't know who picked it, but. Oh, Browning 007.
Yeah.
It's very posh, very suave. Oh, I think I might be able to start a tournament now. Sorry,
we'll let you concentrate on clicking. This is a lively cash game anyway. We're getting back to this. What have we got on the flop here? We've got ace, queen, 4, 2, and no one. Oh, no one's connected, but they have now 2 of them connected. Oh no, Loomas is with his puts 50 cents in because he's hit a jack. Assidious puts 250 in, he's hit the straight, and Scab's getting excited because he's got the straight. He obviously doesn't think Assidious has the same. And now what's Assidious going to bet? He's going to try. Well, how can I get paid here? Of course, it's going to be a split pot. Oh, no mucking about. He puts $84 in. He's going to be very excited when he calls, but of course, winner, winner, it's a split pot. Both with Broadway, top straight, ace, king, queen, jack 10. And they did very well to get the 50 cents off Loomas with his jack 3. He thought, well, it's worth a go. They might pass, you never know. Snap it, jack 5, I don't think so. Pair of 5s, Assidious limps in. And Scab, what's he going to do? He's got the jacks. He raises it up to 2. Loomas, I'm sure he'll call. He likes to play with position. He does call. Ivana, queen 5. That looks a bit dodgy. Trev doesn't want to know. And we've got a full house for Assidious. 3 8s and 2 5s. We've got a full house for Scab, 3 8s and 2 jacks, and of course a full house for Loomas, 3 8s and 2 2s. The 2s are in terrible shape because if he hits his card, of course, it doesn't help him at all. So in fact, he's in a no-win situation now. Because he can't improve, and Scab doesn't need to. So poor old Loomas there. Trapped. He had a full house, 3 8s and 2 2s. If he hit the 2, the third 2 doesn't help him at all, of course. But if Scab had hit his jack, it would have made him a bigger house. So the 2s would have just been the same. The only good it would have done Loomas would have been if he could have hit runner, runner, 2 2. Then he could have made 4 2s. Not easy. Kerry, you've been banging the table here sort of quietly.
I'm a little bit frustrated.
You were punching and stuff. I was getting nervous.
Were you?
Have I upset you?
No, it's not you.
Oh, it's not me,
It's not you. It's just I have requested to sit down in seat 6, and I know that's a bit cheeky, but
yes.
If you do want us to see the game, nearly. There we go. Thank you, whoever was in seat 6. I think it was Assidious, who we've been watching anyways.
What a star.
Thank you very much for letting me sit down. Much appreciated, everyone. All right, now I'm going to play.
She's happy now. If that was Assidious, thank you very much. If it was someone else, thank you very much. Very gentlemanly or ladylike of you. Whoever it was.
Yeah, it was. It was really lovely, so...
Hi, Nick. Yes. Yeah, Kara's been into your account. Yeah, she emptied it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell her. Thanks.
Oh.
Bye.
You think you're so funny,
Sorry.
Mr. Browning.
Jabez was 6'10". I've got good vibes for you tonight.
Thank you. I'm feeling very calm and focused.
Scab makes up the small blind. He's got 8-7. Snappet's got the same hand. No raise from Snappet. Ace 3-7. So Scab has got the middle pair. What's he going to do? Is he going to pop out a bet? There's 150 in the middle. He decides to check. Snappet decides to check. Assidious has got the door left open for him. He's got a spade in his hand for the backdoor flush. He's got two big cards. He probably can assume that no one's got an ace. Is he going to pop in a bet? No. Well, Scab now, again, turns down the chance to bet, so does Snappet. Assidious now has got a middle pin straight draw, because a 10, of course, would give him a straight. And he had the, presumably, we can see the 2 over cards. Now Scab bets, and Snappet calls. Assidious passes, and it's a split pot between Scab and Snappet, both who had a pair of 7s. Well, quite quietly played, that pot. Crumble put in a raise in late-ish position with the King-Jack, took down the blinds. Assidious at King 3, I don't think he'll play with that. No. Snappet, Queen 2, that'll be in the bin. J-Pairs, he will like that in the small blind. I think he should pop in a raise. He does so, makes it $1.50. 3 times a big blind, a good bet. Ace Queen, oh, is he going to follow up? There's $4.50 in the middle. Yes, he does, but he gets called by Loomas. Loomas is really tough to get rid of. $2.50, and Loomas is called again. What's he going to try here? Is Loomas going to be trying something? Is he going to be re-raising here? He's called with something, and yes, he has. I've read it right. He's re-raised to 16. All along, Loomas was calling to make a play. Oh my goodness, and J-Pez has seen through it and called. Well, some spectacular poker there. Loomas calling purely with a plan to make a move, and J-Pez, who had the 2 pairs with an ace, decided... Oh, beg your pardon, it was a queen on the end. I'm sorry, I got so excited when he actually got the queen. It was easy from the end. Sorry, I'm terribly sorry about that. He hit the queen. My fault. I got so excited with the play of Loomas there, trying the move. Well, in fact, that's unlucky for Loomas then. Would J-Pez have called with purely his ace? Possibly with 2 pair on the flop. Possibly. Sorry, life was made easy for him. He pinged his queen there. Missed that in the excitement. Still, a very imaginative play by Loomas. I did say I thought that's what he was going to do, however, before he did it. Now, would his opponent have been feeling that as well? Pair of 2s. Bets 4. Takes it down. Pair of 2s, quite like seeing a pair of 3s in the flop. Didn't think anyone else had a 3. Only 1 card to worry about, so had a feeling that their pair was good enough. Think we'll see a raise here. Ace-King suited, big slick. Snappet doesn't want to know his Ace-9, playing very solid. And I don't think Hotties will call. It's just taking down the blinds for Assidious. Another 75 cents on your stack. Well, JPEZ has got King Kong there, we can see, looming. 10 jacks decide to call. JPEZ, I think, will be charging more money to play this pot. Yes, $2 seems to be the raise at the moment. 10 jacks called. 2 clubs on the flop. Neither player's got a club, and JPEZ, worried by the ace, didn't bet. And Assidious checks. Well, I think JPEZ has got to put a bet in now. He does, 150. Well, he takes it down. Snap it. Bullets. American Airlines. I think we saw Snap it with aces at the beginning of the night. He's got them again. He's just called with the aces. Playing deceptively. Looking for someone to raise him. He's got Loomas in there with 7-5 offsuit. So, and Loomas has hit his 7. And we see that Assidious has got them up and down straight. And Snap it. All right, and it's now 2 pairs for Loomas, 7s and 8s. It's 2 pairs for Snap it, and Snap it's got the club to protect him as well. The 7, 8, 9, 10 needed a 6 or a jack, didn't get it. Well, Snap it wins that, but it played it very passively. And I'm wondering if he could have actually taken a bit more out of that pot than he did. Oh, we've just had a message that Loomas said that my comments on his play were right. And that's exactly what he was planning to do all along. So thanks for that, Loomas. I was so excited at seeing what was happening there. I didn't even see the queen, Loomas. It was just I got carried away with the moment. But it was some good poker. I mean, you played some great poker in that previous hand with the jack 8 when you took the guy off when you represented the queen. I think you just have to be a bit careful about not overdoing it. Because the problem is, if your opponent felt as I was feeling, that you were in there to try and make a move, then they maybe even call with the bare ace. That is the problem. King, king, queen. Snap it's got 2 pairs, kings and queens. Loomas pops in a little 50. Snap it calls. He says, I don't pass for that. He checks. And look at this. Loomas has got a straight. The bottom end of it, so he wasn't so confident, but there you go. Well, it looks like he's going to call this. He's playing most hands at the moment. Hotties, 8-9. Don't think he'll play that. We've got some big guns round the corner. Not the 3-7. The ace-queen. The king-jack. Let's see what they do. Raise to 2 from Assidious. Ace-queen. Aqua. King-jack. Kojak. Calls. JPEZ. Jack-8. It's the Loomas hand. He calls 2. Jack-6 for Loomas. Playing nearly every hand at the moment. Well, JPEZ hasn't connected. Neither is Loomas. Neither is Assidious. But Scab, he's got the top pair. Kojak rules at the moment. $4.50. Loomas. Surely you're not going to be trying another move here, are you? You can't do it all the time. He's thinking about it. Should I, shouldn't I, should I? No, okay. I'll give it a rest this time. And Scab takes it down. Oh, and Loomas has disappeared. I hope he's all right. Snap it. Late position. And raises. Ah! He's been quiet, but look at this. Late position. He's playing position. And he's got opposition there. Now, it'll be interesting to see how he follows this up. Hotties has missed a flop. Snap it. 475 in the middle. Should be following this up with a bet. He doesn't. Well, he's hit a jack now, so he gets a check. He will follow this up with a bet now. Probably about $3. $2, okay. Hotties passes. Snap it got a tight reputation, so maybe he doesn't even need to put so much in. People tend to respect his bet. I think he missed a bet because by not betting, following up, he actually gave his opponent a free cards. So although it made no difference in the end, in the long run, giving your opponents free cards will make a difference. And that's a concept which is hard for some of us to get their heads around. Say, well, what's the difference? I won the same money. Yes, but it's imagine that hand being played out 100 times, 1,000 times. What happens when you don't bet and you give that free card? Well, some of those 100 times, 1,000 times, your opponent will hit their card. You'll end up losing the pot rather than winning it. So that is a really key principle to bear in mind. So I believe that Kara is in the clicking away there.
I am.
I'm not sure how much. Are you trying to cool down on the chat box or?
I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm trying to be focused here.
Okay, you're
but
trying
everyone's
to be
playing
focused.
quite tight.
As you forecast they would, but you've got your secret weapon.
Yes, it's all up here. Uh-oh.
I think she's looking calm and relaxed at the moment.
I feel it.
I'm feeling confident.
Thanks.
For Kara.
No, that's lovely.
Kara, who sometimes says discipline can be a problem with her game.
Oh, hey, don't give away all my secrets.
No, it's sometimes, you said.
A long time ago.
A long time ago, yes. But she definitely feels like a new woman now. Hungry to play and more focused. Well, we have a full table again here in our 25-50 game. Jack King under the gun. Calls. Hotties on the button. Are we going to see a raise from him? Could make it 150. Or is he worried about that under the gun call? Designed just to call himself. 668. Assidious has got the 8. But he checks. Scab bets $1. No help that flop for Hottis, but he's called. Strange call with King 9. And Assidious, 2 pairs. Scab bets again. $2. Hasn't got any part of the flop. Hottis surely can't call again. No, he doesn't. Assidious, can he believe that his 8 is good enough? That's the problem. He's also got a bad kicker, so if his opponent's got it, but that kicker has suddenly become no different because the 2 doesn't help him because he's got 8s and 6s, and the 2, you can't have 8, 6s and 2s because it's your best 5 cards. Still, he won it. And if Scab was trying to steal that pot, it's sort of like a half-hearted attempt at it, really. So in the end, he just sort of basically frittered away some money. Anyway, he's raised it up with the kings. Don't know if he's worried about the queen, but no, not too much. He's bet 4 into a pot of $5.25. Pair of 3s has called him, thinking that he might just be making a continuation bet. But now what did you do the 3s? Because you've got to think, oh my goodness, now he puts a raise in. He's in the Loomas seat. He thinks he's Loomas. But the king is not frightened. Quinsby's only got $3 left. Scab checks, he checks, and Scab should have bet there because Quinsby's only got $3.35. He might have pushed it in the middle. He's not going to try and bluff you, Scab, with $3, is he? So you might as well have taken it off him. Quinsby's just topped up there with another $10. Got $13 now, we can see. Crumble, Queen 6. There's a quiet pot there. I'm just wondering if I can see if I can get some information about that tournament for you. Crumble just calls with the 7s. Oh, what a lovely flop. Trip 7s for Crumble. 3, 5, 7. So J-Pez has got the middle pin straight draw. Needs a 4, as does Quinsby. J-Pez bets $1. Crumble just calls. Ah, deceptive. Wants to try and get some money. He doesn't realise, of course, that J-Pez doesn't have very much. And actually, if J-Pez improves, it's going to be too much for the trips. Because, of course, his improvement would be a 4, which would give him a straight. Crumble bets and takes it down. I wonder if we've got some information on the MTT. I think it's just coming in. Well, yes, we're down to, actually it's getting exciting. I think we should have a little move across there. We're down to 12 runners and we're down to 2 tables. There we go. Pigeon Head. Still got loads of chips. Blinds are now 500, 1,000. Pidge gets some more. Tiger Tilde, is it? Whacks it all in with ace queen. Thanks very much. Gets the chips. So we've got 12 runners. So the average stack should be about 14,000, just over. Because we started with 115 runners. And the big slick there on the button. Nice time. He's got 12,000. What's he bet? He bets... oh, he hasn't got 12. He's got bets all in. I thought he had 12,000 there. Maybe he's missed a number of it. He did have 12,000 there. Just changed it. Metamorphosized in... for some unknown reason. Small blind, got queen 10. Is he going to make it up? Is he going to raise? Let's watch. He's got 6,000. Yep, good attacking play there, and he's going to take down the blinds. Very nice from Pozza. He needs to get chips. What better time to do it than against a blind man? He's got 2 reasonable cards. Likely to be, well, it is an above average hand. Say an average hand will call something like queen 7. He had queen 10. It was above average. He played it aggressively when he needed to. Good play, Pozza. Pidge, he's got a lot of chips. He can afford to look at some flops. He can afford to limp in even for 1,000 because he's got so many chips. And Scorpicus there decides not to make up the 500. The 7 deuce I don't think is going to be doing anything too chirpy. Five, 9, 10. Well, the 7 deuce wasn't expecting much and didn't get much. Pair of 6s, there's 2 overcards there. Can't particularly like it, but puts in a small bet. And because we've got the big stack there, that small bet looks a bit more intimidating than normal because Pidge has got all those chips behind him and says, look, this might be a trap. I might have a monster and just bet really big next time. And Tiger Tilde didn't want to guess. Of course, didn't have much of a hand anyway. Scorpicus Jack 4 surrenders. Right, Tiger Tilde on the button, 6-8 suited. He's going to make a move here, but maybe not because Pidge has got so many chips. It's a bad position for Tiger Tilde, having the big chips just to his left. Strangles him from moving. Let's see if we can have a look at the other table. Look at there. Through the matrix. Where we're going to land. Table 2. The wonders of technology. Perfectly performed by the guys in the gallery. I'll tell you what, we'll give you names. It's Matt, Simon and Joe back there tonight. A better crew you couldn't find.
Yes, I second that.
Pair of ladies. Mad Nev. Not so mad, he bet 4,000. He's only got 4,500 left. Golgot. Surrenders. Mad Nev goes up to 10,000. The round's costing them 1,500 now. Small blind 5, big blind 1,000. You can see we've only got 5 players in this table. I'm not sure how many's left on the other one now, so we've probably got either 4, 5 or 6 on the other table because there can always only be either the same number or one number different. There were 6, of course, when we left it. Golgot, Queen King on the button. I think should do something here. Should make a bet. Does so. 3,000. And there's the same hand there. Different suits, obviously. But on the small blind, Queen King. Well, actually, same suits, but of course, twisted around. Both got diamonds and clubs. Both got a Queen and a King. 3, 5, 6 on the flop. 2 spades. Flop which no one really likes, but the initial raiser says, I'm the raiser, I will pretend I like it. Take that. Bets all in. Good, strong, no limit hold'em play from Golgot there. And the other Queen King passes. Already had a triumph getting the same hand to pass. And Mad Nev, who's got a dominated queen, by that I mean that he has a smaller kicker, i.e. a 9 versus a king, and he passes as well. So good aggressive play by Golgot. Made the pre-flop raise, got a flop he didn't like, decided he didn't have so many chips, he had to try, he tried and succeeded. And that, of course, is a great example of what I was saying earlier in the night, of how much better it is to be making bets than calling. Because when you make a bet, you have the chance that people will pass. And if they don't pass, you still have the chance that your hand will win. Whereas if you're calling, you have to win the hand on merit. Unless, of course, there's a lot more further betting, and you can do a Loomas and then try to re-raise someone and push them off the pot. But generally, when you're calling, you're probably heading towards a showdown. And to reiterate what I said earlier, the more times you go to the showdown, mathematically, the harder it is to win the tournament. The more time you can take the chips down without showing your cards, mathematically, the easier it is for you to win the tournament. Madnev, 6 king. Are we going to see anything here? Queen 10 from Golgot. Interesting to watch. He's got 600 to put in. The blinds are up to 612, as we can see. No surrenders. Deciding probably to keep his chips so he can, all his chips so he can bet with them, because we saw that Golgot was not frightened to bet before. Got a good hand this time, ace-king suited, makes it 4,800. And Madnev, 5 deuce, can't call this. It's only got 5,200 left, but surely he's going to pass this, and does. Well, time's running out for Madnev. He's desperate to get a hand. 1,800 a round. Is M, which is when you add up the price of the round divided into your stack. We see that the round is costing 1,800, and he's only got 4,600, so his M is only just slightly over 2.5. And if you're in the range of 1 to 5, then this means you need to have one move, and that is push. All the chips in one go. But he's gone a bit low here, really, because it's harder for him to get people to pass. And he shouldn't really be in a hand like where he's trying to play a pot, basically. Right, here we go. He should be looking for something now. He's got it. This should be his moment. Madnev, there's one move for you now. Click that all-in button. Click that all-in button, Madnev. Yes, you have done. Good play. Very good play. Let's see what happens. Buffy puts it down. I think Sport's going to put it down as well. You've succeeded, Madnev, I'm sure. If not, you're a good favourite. And he's done it. Well done. Jolly good.
Jolly good. Well, there we go. I finished my tournament just in time for us to go to our next phone call. Thank goodness for that. Perfect timing. I'm not giving anything away.
Okay.
But I believe we're going to have the same young man as we did before, Tony TK Kendall, who is out roaming around. Actually, I think he's in England at the moment still. But he is going to bring us some information on poker tournaments around the world, the state of poker in general, and he's a friend of yours, so you guys can have a bit of a chat as well.
Good idea.
Yeah, so let's just see if he's going to be on the phone line for us here, and we can say hello. Let's see. And And once again, we have Tony TK Kendall on the line. He's going to be talking us through some ladies' play, as you guys were alluding to in our earlier segment.
Yeah, Tony, I believe that after Glasgow, I think you went to Enfield. Is that right, for the ladies' tournament?
Well, it was Leighton Orient, actually.
Leighton Orient, beg your pardon.
It's a football ground, but it's Barry Hearn's venue for many of his competitions. And they had the ladies' poker tour open there. And one young lady that you and I both had a sort of joint interest in was a young lady called Maria Demetriou.
Ooh.
Goes under the screen name of Chili Pepper.
Oh, right, yes.
She's actually connected a bit. Her uncle is Peter Costa. And she has another uncle who's Kim Costa, well-known players. Peter, obviously, a big name on the world stage. And Maria entered the satellite that was run between Blonde Poker and Poker Poker.
That's right.
And she won it. So that was $20 or whatever it is it costs to get a $3,000 seat.
It's amazing, isn't it? That's what value that is, isn't it? Get a 3,000 seat for $20.
Fantastic. Now, you know how much it means to these young ladies, particularly Maria, to do well in this competition. I'm not going to take you through the whole comp because I don't want to spoil it for when it comes on TV next month. But there's one hand here. This is the final hand of the heat.
Okay. 2
players left. One of them is Maria. One of them is a young lady called Claire, who's the partner of Luke Smith, pot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This competition means a lot to these 2 young ladies. Extraordinarily, they both have exactly 300,000 chips.
Wow.
Now, you know, you get a bit nervous at this stage because everything, you know, your poker life depends on this hand. Maria gets dealt 3-6 off and raises it up. A bit aggressive.
Yeah.
Claire calls with Queen 10. The flop comes Jack 9-3, rainbow. Maria bets her bottom pair. Claire got the up and down straight draw, re-raises. Without a hesitation, Maria moves all in for her entire stack. Bottom pair, Jack 9-3. Now, what do you do in Claire's position now? Her competition rests on this. She doesn't know where she stands. She's got an up and down draw. She's got, as I see it, I think 14 outs. Would that be, James?
Yes, it is, yeah.
8 for the up and down, 3 tens, 3 queens. Yep. If she assumes they're clean.
It's hard for her to even think that, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because you don't really know what the other players
She's worried about the jack being there.
She gives it a huge dwell, and she could be facing a pair of jacks, which reduces the out. She could be facing anything, but she gives it a huge dwell. Her competition depends on it. She calls her entire stack. She catches the card. But I think that is spectacular play by these 2 young ladies, and they left me breathless.
Actually, that's just a demonstration of just incredible gutsy play, isn't it, by both of them?
Yeah, we're all guilty, James, of stereotyping lady players into rocks. But you know what we saw? That was a good example, the best example I saw all week. But there was a lot of that sort of play. There was stills and re-stills, aggressive play, wonderful stuff to watch. It can only do these young ladies good. And I think they'll get out on the circuit, and I'm afraid we'll have a few more Lucy Rowe catches around very soon.
Tony, the only worrying thing is I have a horrible feeling they'd have got rid of both you and I.
I don't think, firstly, I can't make the re still with the bottom pair. I can't raise with 3-6 to start with, James.
I'm there with you.
And when it comes Jack 9-3 and I raise and the opponent re-raises me, I mean, I can't wait to get rid of these damn cards. I'll give it a bit of acting, no doubt. But
yeah, I'll act as well. That's all I'll do.
There'll be a bit of pause and, a bit of speech play, but I'm getting rid of this hand pretty damn quick. I just think that kudos to these young ladies, and I want to see more ladies in poker, and it's clear to me they're now coming forward.
No, I've noticed that a lot. As I've seen it on my travels, that the general play from the ladies is really getting stronger and stronger. And
another of the heat winners was a young lady who you know called Pippa Flanders.
Yes.
Pippa's got a very good game. Her husband Tim won the big event at Walsall. A fortnight ago was it?
I think it was. Yes.
Yeah, so she's done well. And
it's always good to see. Sorry, TK. It's always good to see the females doing well as well. We're going to go to another break now, but do stay on the line because we're going to be coming back to you one more time for a bit more poker advice and poker knowledge. For the rest of you, we'll be back after the break, so make sure you stay tuned.
odds have been dealt any one of the following 9 hands, though. Not the odds for each, just to receive one of them.
Mm-hmm. And welcome back to Poker Night Live. This is the third hour here, Poker Night Live. We've taken a look at some cash games, some multi-table tournaments, and some single-table tournaments. And in this hour, you're going to get to see my tournament as well.
Yes, we're looking forward to that.
Are you really?
Well, we are, because we want to see what happened, and it could be a learning process.
Yeah.
It might be a consoling process.
It might just be. We'll have to see. We'll wait and see. But seriously, I'm starting to get a bit disheartened. That's all I'm going to say.
Uh-oh.
But I'm not telling you where I went out. Of course not. That would not be right. Anyways, right. We've got loads of emails. Enough of my self-pitying and whatnot here.
You sound a little down there now. Oh dear.
I'm going to try and put it out of my head, and we'll go straight to the email.
Okay.
Okay. This one is from Double Top, and Double Top says, "Hi, Care. Hi, Double Top, and you were, I think, watching the game as well that I was in. I have some issues with the comments Jay made last night after his 2 sit and goes. Uh-oh. Goodness. The first he went out in the first or second round. Can't remember James's card, but the flop came down the 3 of spades. James raised the over guy. Guy came over the top. I don't think Nick Wealthall wanted to say you're wrong, James, but you must know deep down you're wrong. I was a player that knocked him out of the sit and go, and after his comments, I would... Well, that's just... I don't know if I'm going to read the rest of this.
You can carry on, I don't mind. Well, I'll answer his comments.
Okay, well, he says, what really bugged me is that James said he thought he was better than the rest of us on the table. I doubt that very much. He made the comment that you don't know the level of these players, but it was a $2, so you can't expect much. Okay, well, not that I'm, jumping in here, but I suppose generally, not on the TV tables, because that is it's a different beast, the TV tables, and we all know that, especially for the presenters, because people, like to do that one, because it's quite a good, fun game. So a lot of people from different levels come on. But I imagine, and I don't know, that you're probably just saying that as a general rule, the $2 tables are at a different level than, say, the $20 tables.
Yeah, my comment was, I said it was a $2 table, so I wasn't sure what the standard of play was, so I wasn't quite sure what people were going to be doing.
Yeah, fair enough.
And... so that, I think that's a fair enough comment.
I think it is as well. I mean, I didn't see it, but I can't see that you saying
that. It's basically if I'm playing wherever you play. If I'm playing in a 4-day tournament in Austria, I'm expecting a lot of the players there to be pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of just feeling your way. But I know that good players play in the lower levels because it's TV tables. But once still, you can get far weaker players playing there as well.
Yeah. It says that James must realise why we pay our money and play on the TV tables. And then he says it's a shame that you've got an overrated opinion of yourself. But I don't think that's fair. Ooh. I really don't think that's fair.
Anyway, you didn't quite remember the hands quite right. I think I'd raised pre-flop with ace-queen suited, actually. The flop actually came over 3 spades and an ace. So I actually had the top pair. I've actually walked into someone who's called my pre-flop raise with a pair of jacks. And he'd hit trip jacks. Now the reason why I bet quite strongly on the flop, because I'm actually out of position. I'm in early position. I'm ahead of the person who's called my raise. The reason why I've bet out here and decided I'm virtually going to commit myself to this pot is because of the 3 spades. Because one of the reasons is I've actually bet and he's actually come over the top of me and I've decided to call. The reason is it's quite possible it could be someone who's got a hand with, say, the king of spades in it and is now just deciding to push and just basically do a semi-bluff. Now, if I pass that, then I'm making a blunder. It's a bit of a train crash, isn't it? I very rarely like to go out in the early stages of a tournament when I've got just one pair, and you'll hear me preaching this quite regularly. But for me at this time, it was a slight exception because of those 3 spades. I don't believe that someone has actually flopped the flush. I think that I will be getting action from someone who's got the king of spades. I think in that case where I'm virtually 2-to-1 on, that they're still going to stay in there. And because, again, the table had been quite tight, time was marching on, and so therefore one probably had to commit just a little bit quicker than normal. But those are my reasons for playing. I don't think I ever said that I thought I was better than everyone. I'm quite confident that I'm a good player. I don't mind saying that.
Well, I would think so, considering some of the tournaments.
It'd be a bad job if I
in.
wasn't, because I wouldn't feel good enough to give you advice in that case.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I think you've got a bit bitter about it, Double Top, and I see you've got a bit threatening there. So I think you've lost the plot a bit.
Which is a bit of a shame, and I just so that I can say this as well, because I think that your track record speaks for itself. And one tournament last night, or two tournaments last night, as compared to however many, tons of tournaments you played all over the world at various levels and quite high levels as well, as a professional poker player. Now that is why you're sat here as the expert. So.
Yeah, so short run and sit and goes as well. It's a long-term game, but. Yes, of course. I mean, well done for anyone who wins them, because there's obviously quite a bit of luck to sit and go anyway. But they're good fun, and I don't mind. I'm always a good loser if I lose. So if anyone beats me, well done. And all I'll do is try again next time. And
that's all we're going to hear on that matter, I'm afraid. So there you go.
Right. Have spoken.
I have spoken. I should have read that email a little bit more closely before I read it out. Right, now this is a text from Andy, and Andy is saying, "Hey James, I'm having a real problem with keeping my attention on the game when I'm playing nowadays. I used to be the rock of the whole table, but I'm finding myself playing hands I would never have dreamt of playing when I first started poker last year after watching your show. Any ideas how I can solve this?" Yeah, see, now I completely understand. I feel exactly the same, but I don't have sort of the long run to blame it on, so.
Right, what happens here is, as we learn, we start to become more adventurous. And, we see different plays, we see all different sort of people calling with strange hands and coming back over the top, making moves. We see about putting in raises, we see continuation bets. It's all very exciting. And the more we learn, as we learn, we're sort of hungry to try and experiment with these things we've learned about. What happens is we sometimes overdo it. And that's probably what's happening to you. When we find that we're overdoing it, we suddenly lose our sort of solid play. And then, of course, we lose our solid image. So therefore, these other plays we make now, we can't carry them off because we've lost the solid image. So what have we got to do? Pull in the reins again, tighten up, change gear the other way. Play very, very solid again. Recreate your table image. Once you've recreated your table image, then you can start becoming more adventurous again. So therefore, let's get stuck in a rut one way. Let's be flexible. But any time that things are going a bit wobbly, my best advice for you is tighten up. Become solid again, especially in a money game.
Very good advice. Okay. Right, we've got one more that's sort of not quite exactly on the same vein, but the same sort of question. It's about, this is a text from Rob. I'll read it out to you. He says, "Hello, my name is Rob. I'm getting down with my play, making the right move, aggressive when I get a hand, but I keep getting beat on the last card. Please help." Well, yeah, bad beats. That's awful. You don't say in your text, Rob, how long you've been playing, because maybe this isn't really a long run kind of question. Maybe, this is a short run sort of thing. What do you think?
Well, unfortunately, us humans have got selective memories. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And so therefore we can remember whenever we get outdrawn. And if we're competitive creatures, which a lot of us who play poker are, it hurts us and we remember it. But unfortunately, we don't remember when we're being lucky the other way around. We don't sort of make a note of it or a mental note of it the same way. So therefore, our analysis becomes a little bit flawed because of this selective memory. If you really want to see if you're being unlucky or not, basically, you'd have to log down all the hands you played, and then etc., check it out, and then over time, see if you really are being unlucky. But short run, you can be unlucky. And maybe you have been unlucky. I'm not saying you haven't. It's possible that you have. But poker is a long run game, not a short run game. If we play for long enough, luck will tend to average itself out. And at the end of the day, luck will not be the determining factor, but skill will be the determining factor. And what's important is when we're having a bad run, which it seems like you are having, what we have to do is to make sure that we play properly, that we minimize our losses when we're doing badly, but when we do have some good fortune, we make sure that we maximize our wins. So all we can do is to play the game to the best of our ability. Forget about the luck eventually will sort itself out.
There we go. And thank you very much, Rob, for your text in. Hopefully that will help lots of people out there. I know that helps me. Just, you know, stay strong is what you're saying. The luck evens itself out. Just try to play the best poker that you can, right?
Yes, you're better again now. That you were looking a bit subdued after your tournament. Now, no, hang on, you're thinking now. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, we are going to show my tournament but in a minute, because at the moment I want to show you how to get in touch with us here in the studio. So if you do have any questions or comments, you can let us know. You can text us here on 62211. Or if you want to comment on any of my play, feel free. Do it while I'm here tonight rather than doing it tomorrow, because I won't be here. I won't be able to hear you. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. That's the email address. There we go. Now we're going to go to my tournament. You can tell me where I've gone wrong, where I've gone right, and hopefully I'll learn a little bit too.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Yeah, right, me too. And I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who let me sit down. I'm playing as Nick Wellthall. They're in seat number 6, and
Nick W.
I apologize, Nick W. I had to use your account because mine was empty. Shocking that, isn't it?
As yours is now, Nick.
Yeah, it kind of is. Sorry. I am really sorry, Nick, if you're watching. I'll have to give him a call tomorrow and apologise.
Okay, here we are. Starting level. Sit and go. Kara in the disguise of Nick W. Her stack still intact, having passed the first hand. Robin Joanne comes up against trip 10s on the turn to Chupa. It's a very nice start for Chupa, pinging trips. Well,
right, I'm going to keep a note of every starting hand I had. So, okay, I've got 3-5 offsuit.
what was the first one?
I don't remember, but
one.
it was nothing.
It
really.
was nothing much, okay.
Right, 6-4 offsuit, nothing again.
Miss Votavova. So there was another lady on the table.
Yes, and Robin Joanne as well was a lady. There's a bit of girl chat around the old table there.
So read it well, Robin Joanne there. The raise, yes, a small raise by Miss Votavova with the 9s, and the well put down by Miss Votavova, and well read by Robin Joanne. Keyhole surgery there, 10s over 9s. 10-3 you had there, Kara. If you're busy writing, you're going to be on the ball here, getting all these hands.
Yeah.
Miss Votavova, ace-king, big slick, just calls. I don't mind that in the early stages of sit and goes, not at all. Ended up with position. Keeping control of the size of the pot.
Yeah, or not so much as Clay decides to put in a nice big bet. Ace-queen, so 5 times the big blind there. That's quite a lot, really, for ace-queen.
Certainly is.
I wonder if she thinks he's got aces or...
Well, probably thinks she's up against a pair, but no calls it. And the good thing is she's, of course, got position.
Yes.
So that will have tempted Miss Votavova to call, having position. Now Clay has got the question whether to put in a continuation bet or not. The problem is, early stage of the sit and go...
Ouch.
It's bad shape when you have to be betting with nothing, basically.
Yeah.
But let's pop the bet in. And Miss Votavova's seen through it.
Yep, she's not being pushed off of this.
And re-raised. And that's a very good play by Miss Votavova there. Read the situation well. Read the situation well. Pair of 3s here for Kara on the big blind.
Woohoo!
Robin Joanne got a pair of aces.
Wow.
Made it 80, 4 times the big blind. Clay, Martinique, and I think Kara will put this down.
Yeah, you know, I'm waiting a bit just to...
No, that's fine.
Don't want to appear too eager to fold.
Listen, we've seen people tonight who'd be calling with that, so... Nothing wrong there.
Now I've got King 10, offsuit.
Yep.
I'm in later position.
No, you're in the small blind.
Oh, sorry, I'm in the small blind, pardon me.
and there's been a raise.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I hope you'll be passing.
Good. I'm glad for that.
Yeah, it's just no way a call.
No. This is me going,
why?
darn
Because
it,
you're in the
darn
small
it, darn
blind.
it.
So if you do call, you're out of position because you're first to speak.
Exactly.
So you've got a substandard hand, a sort of hand where if you hit a king, you don't know where you are, because a raiser could easily have ace king or king queen or whatever, etc.
Yes.
So therefore, you're on the wrong end of it. If you've got the 10, your opponent could have ace 10.
Yeah.
So you don't know where you are.
Good.
So therefore, it's a horrible hand to call a raise with.
Okay, I feel better about that then.
Often calling raises, you'd be sometimes better calling raises with cards which are away from the raising area of cards. So in a way...
Right, because then it's easier to put them down.
Easy to put them down, but also more likely that your card's alive. So sometimes you can even call with something funny like a 6-7 suited.
Yeah.
Whereas you know these cards are live, you think very likely the raiser hasn't got those cards.
Yeah.
If you hit these cards, you think, well, that's probably winning.
True.
And whereas the king 10 is in the raising area of cards, the kings and tens. Any of these substandard picture hands are always dangerous.
Yes. I see exactly what you mean by that.
And that is why even I came out with the saying for the king-queen, king-queen rules in the land of the unraised pot. And that is because in raised pots, it's vulnerable to the ace-king and the ace-queen. But when it's played in a pot which hasn't been raised and it hits its king or a queen, it's likely to be in good shape. So it's all the same principle.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Did you get your next hand down?
I did,
you're
yeah.
in tune now. You got the rhythm for getting those hands down.
Oh,
now.
yes.
Pair of jacks has raised it up, made it 70. And Geordie. Not a good night for the Geordies, unfortunately. Out of the FA Cup, beaten by Chelsea.
Aww.
1-0.
Ouch.
I think they scored after 4 minutes, so knocked a bit of the excitement out of the game.
Right, now I've got king, queen, suited.
Right.
After a raise, after a big raise.
You've got to put it down.
Yeah.
There's been a raise and a re-raise. There's no way can you call it.
No.
It's absolutely clear-cut pass.
It's a shame, though, because I was gutted, because it was the first kind of half-decent
Well,
that
well
I've
done.
had.
You resisted the temptation to call with it, and that's good. That's a good sign.
Okay.
And maybe a carer from a while back might have called it.
True.
So therefore, we have seen some improvement.
Hey, that makes me feel better.
Right?
I'm improving. That's not a bad thing.
You've watched. You've seen what's been going on, and you've taken note of it. That's playing poker. You're playing poker. The raise, re-raise, king, queen suited looks pretty. Haven't had anything. Never mind. Still got a pass. Well done.
Cool.
That is thinking poker.
Good. Good.
So that is very, very promising. Robin Joanne, late position, ace king.
Very nice position to be
Made
in.
it 80. Chupa will have to put it down. Does so. Well, only Clay has slumped a bit. Oh, Jamati's got 650. 2040, the blinds have gone up.
Second stage here of the tournament.
Kara with 7-8 off suit.
You know what? That I did in favor. Who do you think I did that in?
Mark Bannon.
I did. I'm sorry, but I thought I've not played a hand yet, and I really want to. And so I did.
I don't like it.
I know.
It's early position.
But I limped in. It's only going to cost me 40
it's passive
chips.
and you've got a chance. No, but you don't know that. Because your early position, what happens when someone raises?
Well, then I probably would have thrown it away.
Right, so you've just pushed 40.
You're right.
In a way, you've just sort of felt like, I want to play, I want to play.
And I saw 7-8 off suit, and I thought it'd be quite funny if I did.
You know what? This is where even people, we say that people fall in love with suited and not too much. If it had been suited, at least would have given you a couple more options. But it's too early for it, and I think that was just a little bit. I think you frittered 40 away. It's a small black mark there.
Okay, that's
Only
fair
a small
enough.
one.
That is fair enough. I think I probably felt a little pressure as well, because in the chat box people were saying how I was playing quite tight.
Aren't you going to play a hand and then you fell for it and played one?
I know, that's rubbish, isn't it?
Never
Schoolyard
mind.
bullying, awful.
And the thing is, you see, we've got to remember that is a big blind. So therefore,
Exactly. I've lost a round.
But you lost a little bit of time.
Yeah.
It's just, imagine you've got an egg timer with time in it, and you've just taken a handful of sand and thrown it out.
Fair enough. But look at this. Now I'm on the big blind, and it folds all the way around. I've got Jack 8, and I am thinking to myself...
Right, what's the button going to do here? Because the button might do something with the Ace 9. I'd imagine. Yes,
shame,
it does
so I was
do.
getting ready to try
the
to bluff
button
them
raises.
off of it. Poo.
The re-raise.
There's no way I'm playing that.
Quite right, and thank goodness there was a raise to start with. But you couldn't call a raise a single raise with Jack 8
I wouldn't have called a raise with it.
No. Okay.
I would have liked to try to defend the blind, but you know what? It's just not worth it.
Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Again, these chips early on can be used better by having them as weapons to bet with.
Okay. Fair
I
enough.
know it's frustrating not getting hands.
It really is.
It is, and the trouble is the clock on these tournaments is quite fast, and one feels the pressure of that clock ticking away.
You know what? I think I throw this away. Oh no, I didn't. What did I do there?
You've raised with Queen 6 against 4 people.
I just wanted to see what would happen. I was, I know. That was a terrible move. Another, not even a small black mark, but a big one. Okay.
Are you giving yourself a big black mark? Okay, good. No, the problem with that is that.
I know. I was out of position to do that kind of.
Well, yeah, no, out of position's not so bad because that sort of like represents strength. But the problem is, how many people are you doing it against? You're doing it against 4 people. It's very difficult to bluff 4 people.
I know, you should never try to bluff more than 2 people. And I know this. I don't know why I didn't follow the advice.
You tried to bluff an army there.
I know. Okay. It was wrong. It was bad. I'm sorry. Let's go back to the game. You're right. That was rubbish. I missed it. I don't know what I had in that round, but it was bad.
Okay. You had another bad hand there.
Yeah, I had another bad hand.
Can the boys in the gallery, do you know what she had in the last hand? We're trying to keep a record. Something like 5-7, I think.
Okay, so not good.
Okay.
Right, if anyone else wants to...
Did you put a little mark by what happened there?
I did.
Put right down raise or something with you.
Yeah.
Raise against 4 people.
Raise.
B4.
Right.
Chupa, ace, jack. Wow, and an early raise there, under the gun from Chupa. Okay, Chupa has got a few chips, but quite fruity, and has now been re-raised. And calls it. Can't particularly enjoy it. And a pair of 8s is in front at the moment. And back in the game again. Well,
ouch.
I'm not very keen on that under the gun raise by Chupa with his ace jack, actually.
No.
Too early for a play like that. Plays which later on you can do. We'll see plays where I think I'll disagree with now, which I think are correct later as the action,
as it changes,
as the table thins out, and as the blinds go up.
I'll tell you,
but we're still only in the second level. Sorry?
The table didn't really thin, to be honest.
It's certainly not. No, and that, of course, he was the weak link, and of course he's back in the game again.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's put you down to sort of the second lowest there. And I think you may be feeling the pressure a little bit.
I really was.
Okay, ace 3. Yes, I must admit, I got a shock with that Queen 6 raise there.
That was terrible, wasn't it?
I couldn't guess that one was coming.
No.
I just couldn't guess. In
fact, was rubbish.
I thought you were going to just be deliberating whether to make up the small blind or not.
I just thought maybe.
I was actually trying to work out even if it was worthwhile making up the small blind, and was probably thinking I wasn't going to. Yeah. The next thing was you raised, so it did come as a little bit of a shock.
I know, that was rubbish. If anyone else wants to tell me how rubbish I've been playing, then,
No, just listen.
Do feel free to get in touch.
No, it's just all a learning process. Right, let's see. Are you keeping your hands, your log of hands?
I am. Yep, there we go. Ace 5.
Okay, in the big blind. So, blind to 40-80.
Yeah, but someone's just put in 320. I can't compete with that sort of thing.
Nope, and you're getting sick.
And I'm getting absolutely sick of sitting on my hands and doing nothing.
And so you have to pass again.
You know what? The only cards I've had, the only pair, I've had a pair of 3s twice. And that's it. That's all I've had.
Lucky you didn't play because someone had aces then.
I know, but it's just rubbish.
Yeah.
Seriously, I despair. I just couldn't catch a break. And I know that sounds really sort of, I am copping out with that.
Right, what are you doing
well.
here? 2-3 on the small blind, passes it. I think that's quite correct. You haven't got enough chips to make up that small blind.
No, and besides, even if I hit anything...
you don't know where you are.
Exactly. That's what I'd see. Look at me thinking about the second
level.
That's good.
And out of position, you see, as well.
Yeah.
So it's a very difficult hand to play. And you're not in a state, you're still not in a state where you need to panic with that 2-3 and make a move with that.
Yeah.
Because it's getting a bit iffy, but...
It is getting a bit iffy.
Right, that was one there where you
I might have.
That's one you could have considered.
Yeah, I did consider, but I just... King 6.
We can see someone's got a pair of 9s. We're not bothered about that. We're just pretending the two hands, we don't know what they are. And certainly, having come all the way around to you there...
But I would have rather gone in with Jack 10 suited or something. King 6,
well, no, because
off suit. It's just...
No, but it's a big card.
I suppose
and when you're against probably against one person, the big card becomes significant.
Okay.
As it happens, you'd have hit your king.
Don't say that. That's true.
And maybe could have gotten to pass. I know that was a possible window, but I don't mind it. I don't mind you leaving it.
Is that a little black mark?
Well, I think it was one you passed too quickly. I think it's one which certainly needed. Let's say that was one to be considered.
Okay.
Because everyone had passed round to you, it was a window of opportunity.
Yeah.
You are now basically against two blind hands. You've got an above-average hand. Queen 7's the average. You've got King 6.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not brilliant, but you haven't been getting good cards.
Yeah, I just kept thinking if I wait long enough, I'll get something.
Okay,
but it's just rubbish.
King Deuce next again.
Yep.
Not very good. You can't play that one. I wouldn't play that one.
I've got nothing.
Basically, if I'm looking for the two card situation, even if I've got the king, I want my second card to be at least a 6, funnily enough.
Because otherwise, if I hit it in a pair, is what I'm thinking, it's not going to be worth much, because anyone's going to beat me, any
Well,
pair.
it's not just that. It means that if you do come up against, say, something like Ace 2, Ace 3, Ace 4, Ace 5, at least you've got the two middle cards. That's the key to that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely in the rear now. I've got King 9 suited.
Right. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I want to do something. I desperately, desperately want to do something.
So you
I figured I was in a bad position. I mean, there were still, like you say, 4 people behind me. I had my fingers burned on that last time. Although with King 6 suited, I probably had a better chance, huh? And look, or King 9. Now I've got King 6.
Now it's more difficult because now you're earlier in position because you're sneaking further in position. So you're waiting to find, you're hoping to find a hand. You've still got a bit of time here.
Yeah.
Not much, but you've still got a bit of time. Oh, here we go. But someone's going to do something ahead of you. Are they? No. What do you do?
Thank goodness for that.
What do you do?
That's what I'm thinking. What do I do? What do I do?
Push all in.
Yeah? I decided just to make a standard raise.
Okay, well if you do 320, you might as well have pushed the whole lot in.
I suppose so, huh? I kind of thought if I pushed all in, nobody would believe me.
But you've got quite a good hand. For this stage, you know, compared with everything you've got.
Yeah.
Okay, well done.
Thank you. Look at me, I won a hand. Wow.
Well done. No, that's fine.
And now,
but once you put that 320 and you're left with 290, you're happy to take that down and get the blinds, funny enough. Gives you time to get another hand. Jack, Queen, you passed that quite correctly.
Yeah, that was 27 hands of poker before I got the Queen King.
Wow.
I had nothing up to that point. Ridiculous.
Ace-3 offsuit.
In the
we
big
still
blind.
have a full table here. Look at this.
And I'm in the big blind, and I am thinking to myself, okay, if everyone folds to me, maybe I can try and steal it from Martanic.
And he does a raise against you.
Yeah. Pooh.
Well, so it's pass or re-raise are your two options.
Yeah, and I just don't think with an ace-3 I could re-raise it. And
You can do, because you might think he's trying to steal again.
oh, so I did. So I re-raised it. Oh yeah, because he was saying he couldn't wait to see what my hand was.
Well done.
Thank you. And I still.
Well, I said it was pass or re-raise, and that's exactly what you did. You did the re-raise. Well, hang on. We're
Thanks.
going to give you a big star for that one.
Thanks very much. That'll
Very
cancel out one of my
good.
black marks. I did
Again,
try.
I think you should actually have pushed it all in, because
Yeah.
once you've done that, you just want to ask him a bigger question,
Right.
just to
And
make
so he
sure
doesn't
you
decide to go and just catch a card on the flop. I
say,
see.
boom, I'm
Yeah.
all in now. You can't outplay me. You can't do anything. Take
fair
that.
enough, yeah.
So I think rather than trying to put the different price one in there, I think I'd have just
Okay.
clocked a lot there. But still, very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Finally,
Now,
one good
That
hand
was
of
a lovely
poker.
surprise, that one, to
Ah,
see that.
Good. I decided, because everyone was saying to be more aggressive, be more aggressive. So I thought I would be a little bit more aggressive.
Did we get that hand up?
Yep. That was 2-3 off
Okay.
suit. Now, Queen 5 suited. On the dealer button. Nope.
Robin Joanne, 480.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
Robin
the blinds are
Joanne.
up to 81.60 now, so
Yeah.
getting more pressure.
And nobody's gone out
Because
yet
the
either.
rounds now are 240 each round. And this puts a lot of pressure on. Well,
Yeah.
in sit and goes, I don't fully go with Harrington's M completely. I don't go fully with that. I tend to look more at the relationship to the big blind.
Yeah.
Just because if you look at the M, it means that too many people are under pressure. So I think it's slight. His M theory, or McGreal's M theory, the mixture of the two of them, is far more suited to large stack tournaments where they also have running antes. I think it's a good guideline to do. We should be using it all the time and practicing it as a guideline. But then I think we should also have another thing of just looking at how many big blinds we've got as well. But of course, the big blinds will also tell you that you're in trouble here as well. Because you've got 5.5 big blinds only.
Yeah. And I'm quite conscious of the fact that I'm still playing against a full table as well.
Yes, and that creates a very strange pressure in these sit and goes, because it basically means we're getting to a situation where we more or less have to push, but there's so many opponents out there.
Exactly, that's what
so
I'm
now
thinking.
it becomes very, very difficult.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll tell you, I was so relieved, and I felt bad. Sorry, Jamati, that you went out there, but I was so relieved it wasn't me. Woohoo! Didn't go out first. Hooray, hooray.
6-3.
Yep, 6-3, offsuit. Ooh, what a peach of a hand. I know I'm complaining a lot, but I did feel it. I just wanted so badly to play. I wanted to play.
Queen 5. Pass.
Pass.
Geordie, ace queen suited. There's a proper hand. Chunky bet,
That's a big
640.
bet.
Good play, took it down, not showing down. Every time you take down without showing your cards is great.
Yeah.
Ace 5 for care on the big blind.
Watching what
Pass.
people are doing.
Willing Chupa to pass here.
Ah, wished.
Pass, pass, you say.
Not a chance.
Pass. Oh,
See?
no.
Not a
you
chance.
know I can't call my ace 5.
No.
Why did you raise?
Exactly. Thanks, Chupa. Ooh.
Go on, raise him back. He shouldn't have raised in the first place. Ooh, don't.
You're not really thinking about
Well,
it.
I don't know. I was just worried for a second there.
Hit the wrong button. Oh! You never know. Stranger things have happened.
Well, Chupa, I think, is more or less committed here. Well, it's tough to pass that. He's only got 500 left.
Yeah.
Not comfortable, you know, but he's made the raise there. You see, the thing is, it's so fast now that unfortunately I think he was virtually committed to... He mightn't have liked it. He thought he could have been dominated by a bigger ace, but he was more or less committed to have to call, I think.
Yeah.
And it's an attacking play by Clay.
Certainly is.
Says, I've got an ace and you're raising again. This is really getting on my nerves.
Yeah, exactly what I was... Yes. I wasn't quite sure
I was trying to get
do.
the character role there.
Well, I am very well done. You need to toss your hair a little more,
Yeah.
and then it's just me to a T.
I couldn't quite do that as well.
I am sorry. You're probably getting whiplash from me tossing my hair. It's because I just had a
You
cut.
won't be
I'm
getting
loving
it from me.
Oh, and Clay stays in. And unfortunately, Clay was down, I think, an even smaller stack than I was, and now I'm the short stack. Ouch.
No, Chupa's
No?
got less than you.
Oh, does it? Oh, good.
And Robin Joanne's similar size, but she looks
Yeah.
like things are looking up.
Yep.
Oh, 3-2.
Oh, how exciting.
You've had
What
some
a
miserable
hand.
cards.
Haven't I?
Yeah.
I did feel like that all the way through. I just thought, I so badly wanted to play. I really enjoy playing poker. It's
Yeah.
just the sitting and waiting. It drives me crazy. And then I get dragged into conversations in the chat box. Dragged in, you know, unwilling. Because, you know me, I don't like to talk. I'm not a talker. I'm the strong silent type. Bit of a maverick.
Robin Joanne, Queen 7.
Go
Been asked
Robin
the question
Joanne.
by Geordie with the 6-5. Good
Yeah.
adventurous play by Geordie there, using his chips. Second in chips at the table. Kara,
I know.
10 Jack. Deliberating. Think this is the best I've seen, she's thinking.
Yeah, it is what I'm thinking. Or will I see better? It's not even suited. Oh. My high card's only a jack. I've got
Well,
4 people behind me.
oh no, what you just
I
called?
thought maybe I'll see the... I know, you know what? I was using the
What
slider
is-
bar.
No.
Oh, and I was thinking, do I go in? Do I not? Do I go
no,
in? Do
you-
I not?
Okay, I'm sorry,
Ooh,
but
that was bad, wasn't it? It was
Hang on.
really bad.
you've got another little black mark, I'm afraid.
I know, a big one.
Because you haven't got enough chips to call.
I haven't got enough chips to
If you-
scare.
You had 2 options. What were your options?
Well, I should have either folded it or pushed all in.
Correct.
And now I've gone all in, and I should have done that the first time.
But now you're not going to get him to pass now anyway,
No.
because it's only for
And he's
another
committed.
peanut
Yeah.
now. Okay, so you're not bad shape. You're underdog, but you're
I
not,
should have pushed all in.
you know, and you've hit your jack and he's hit his king, so
Yeah.
you've been unlucky. But what you lost was your fold equity.
Yeah.
If you were to play it, you had to push it all in,
Yeah.
then you had some fold equity, because they'd have said, ooh,
Yeah.
Kara's pushed it all in,
So,
maybe the king nine's not going to call you now.
yeah.
He's made the play because he said, well, if I make a raise, I might make a pass. Look at her, she's limped in. How she
Yeah.
can't afford to limp in. He thinks he's got fold equity against you. I think if you push it in, I actually think he passes.
Yeah, I know. I
you
think
think he
you're
does?
right. No, I think you're absolutely right. In fact, everyone said in the chat box, you should have just pushed all in.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I said, you know, that's true. Live and
So
learn. I
you
should
had
have
2
pushed all
choices,
in.
pass or all in.
Yeah.
But the call,
Rubbish call.
so there's another mistake, I'm afraid.
Yeah. No, that's a big one. And
But-
that knocked me out.
Do you now think you know more than you did before you played it?
Yeah. And I
So
used
that's
Nick
great then.
Wolfell's money for it, so...
That was the best play.
Sorry, Nick. Whoops. And his reputation.
Yeah, that was
And
actually
now look,
Nick.
everyone sort of goes, you know, nuclear and busts out of the tournament now that I'm gone.
All right.
Because look, it was at 163.20, and only one person was out. Oh, terrible. Gosh. And there goes Clay as well. Look at this. It's just absolute mayhem. It's meltdown on the table. This is poker carnage.
Martinique. Miss Votavova, King 9. King 9 suited. You're right, as soon as you left, look at this. This table has just been decimated.
It has done, yeah. All the other short stacks busted out pretty much immediately.
Wow.
Yeah, everyone was just kind of holding on, holding on, holding on. I wish I'd just put all in there. Oh well.
Okay, without looking at your notes.
Yeah.
Tell me, don't look, that's
Nope.
right, well done. Tell me what the mistakes were.
Right, mistake number 1. I tried to bluff 4 people with nothing, with like Queen 6 or something ridiculous.
But 4 people was the thing, well done.
Yeah, exactly, because
you didn't pick an easy target.
No, I was out of position.
Target.
It was ridiculous,
Okay.
I shouldn't have done it.
And your bet, was it big enough to get rid of them?
No, it wasn't even big enough, exactly.
Right,
so,
okay.
Okay, so that was one big mistake.
Okay, good that you remembered it.
That was like the biggest mistake. There was a little mistake. I think I passed on a starting hand that I was in position. I could have tried to push them off the blinds. I think I was on the button.
I'm not giving that as a position. I just think that was like a moment you should have considered.
It was a missed opportunity.
It was one I wanted.
I had 2 of those.
It's one I wanted you to think of was an opportunity to
Yeah.
think about, but I've not given you a black mark for that. Okay.
So and I had 2 of those. So that's 3 black marks altogether. And then the last one, I should have put all in. I didn't have enough chips. I should have, as you say, either fold or push all in.
Yeah.
And I think 1, 2, 3, 4.
A mini one there where you did. I love the play when you came back over the top with the big blind.
Yeah.
But you might as well have pushed all in again there rather than leaving the bet in case someone thinks.
Yeah.
You just want to get him out there because at the end of the day, we're going to reiterate this time and time again. You're very happy to take down chips without showing the cards.
Exactly. And you know what? I was just scared to be out of the tournament.
Right.
Isn't that ridiculous? I know that's ridiculous. I enjoy it, and I wanted to be playing, and I just did it the wrong way.
But I love the bit where you did that re-raise. I thought that was great. It came as such a lovely surprise when you did it. It was brilliant.
It was a bit of a surprise to myself as well.
Very good.
And Martanic did say, "What did you have there?" And I said, I think I told him I had 6-7 offsuit. Yeah, I find it kind of difficult sometimes, and I'm not the only one. We've had an email through from Mickey who says he's got the same problem that I've got. He says, "Hi, Karen James. On the internet, you only get 20 or 30 seconds thinking time." And this is my problem too.
Yeah.
He says, "When I play live, I find that most people don't take much time in making decisions, which I believe can lead to making mistakes. So my question is, how much thinking time are you allowed when playing live, and what are the penalties if you take too much time?" And says, "Thanks and great show." And I think so as well. I find it difficult sometimes, and then I'm fiddling with the slider bar, or I'm trying to type something in, and then I just do the wrong thing. I feel pressurized. But anyways, how much time do you have playing live?
Right, basically you can think about your hand. If someone then thinks you're taking too long, they can ask for the clock to be put on you.
Okay, how long does that give you?
And basically, it varies slightly, but the maximum you'll get then is 2 minutes.
Okay.
But when they put the clock on you sometime, if you've already been thinking a considerable time, they might then just give you even a minute, or maybe even half a minute if it's been a long, long time. So.
Okay. Oh, we've got a couple all-ins there.
10-8 king's a flop. Oh. Robin Joanne's got the king. No one's got a diamond. Needs a lucky 7, doesn't get it, and it's kings and 10s for Robin Joanne.
Yeah, and there she goes. I mean, she pushed all in so that she couldn't make the mistake of backing out if Martanico raised again or whatnot, re-raised. Very smart play. Very smart play. Wish I'd done it myself.
She's going to chip leader. Okay, last question for you, because I just wanted to get in your head.
Definitely.
You don't mind, do you?
Yep, no, you go for it.
When you just called and didn't bet, what did you lose? What was the thing you missed out on?
Oh, I didn't...
you missed out on something.
The folding equity?
Exactly. That's all I wanted. I just want you to say it so it endorses it in your mind.
True, and that's a good point, actually.
So
I
by
lost
just
my
calling
equity.
and by not pushing all in, I lost my fold equity.
I did. I lost my fold equity.
Okay?
And didn't know where to find them.
Right. Now, I'm only saying that because I know that
it'll help me remember it.
When I first met you,
definitely.
We went over with the 3 R's and you remembered it ever since.
Definitely.
So I now know you're going to remember this, aren't you?
I will. I absolutely
And when
will.
it happens, you're going to say, yeah, James made me remember it.
And I still did it wrong.
No, you won't next time. You
Hopefully
won't.
not.
You'll think about it next time.
Exactly. I will do. I really will do. I really, really will do. I'm just locking it into my head. So there we go. Geordie and Robin Joanne, and Geordie takes it. There we go.
Well, it was a good sit and go in the end anyway. Robin Joanne played well. Geordie played well. Did a few good moves early on, Geordie. When he had a few chips, he did use those chips to take down some easy chips, which was good play.
Yeah.
So, entertaining sit and go, everyone. Well played.
Yeah, thanks very much for the competition. I definitely appreciate it, and thank you very much for letting me sit at the table as well.
Very polite.
Yeah, I'm not so polite in the chat box sometimes, but I do get a bit heated, that's all I'm saying. Right, so here we go. An email from James for James. James says, hi guys. Hiya, James. 2 questions, one quick, one not so quick. I'll do the quick one first because we may not get to the not so quick one till after the break. Firstly, in a multi-table, I think you mean a multi-table tournament. You said an MMT. I'm guessing it's MTT. How is it decided which player moves from a table to another? I only ask because I'm trying to set up a 4-table game with a big group of mates.
How is it decided which players move from a table to another?
Yeah.
The correct way to do it is, when you're balancing the tables, is to move the big blind. And the big blind should then move to the worst position, preferably straight into the big blind position on another table. If not, he moves into the worst position, i.e. under the gun, if that seat's open, so next time he'll be a big blind. And that's the correct way to do it. And an MMT, for your information, is a tournament where you play for chocolate.
Is it?
M&M's tournament.
I thought that was a WW tournament. See, we played as WW in Canada. There you go. Right, now we have a longer question from James. We will get to it now, and then we'll move on to the other ones in a minute. Right. Secondly, and a longer question, about a hand I played this afternoon in a 10-person single-table tournament. You might want to take notes on this one. It's a bit complicated. Right, I have 2,000 chips, and I'm the chip leader. The average stack is only 1,111. You are very precise. The blinds are 20-40. I'm dealt ace-jack suited on the button. Got it so far?
I'm there.
All right. Everyone folds around to me, so I raise to 160, 4 times the big blind. The big blind calls. The flop turns over 2, 6, 10, unsuited. The big blind bets 160. I'm thinking that he's trying to buy the pot, so I raise to 320. The big blind raises 600, all in. It's 440 extra for me to call. I already have 480 in the pot, and I can easily cover the bet, so I call. Was this the correct decision? We turn our cards. He has ace-2, a pair of 2s. The turn card is jack, the river is 10, so I win with jacks and 10s. I did get very lucky, but I still feel this was the right play. However, the guy I busted out thought that I made a stupid call, as I had basically nothing. I thought he made a foolish bet, betting all in on a bottom pair. Was I right, and is he a sore loser, or did I make a foolish play? I went on eventually to win the tournament. Your opinion and advice would be much appreciated. Great show as always. There we go. So he won with jacks and 10s, but that was on the turn and the river.
Right. Yes, I actually think you asked a question and you were given the answer by your opponent, who was like telling you you had something. So now basically you're just basically on a draw hand. Probably the best you're on is you've got 6 outs, which is probably 3 aces or 3 jacks. If he's telling the truth and he's got a hand, although he only had ace-2, he did have a hand. He had the pair. As it happens, of course, because he had the ace-2, then he only had 3 outs. I actually don't think you played it great. I think I like the way you asked him a question, but you didn't listen to the answer, and you stuck in there. And I actually think you had to pass.
Oh, there you go. Right, well, we have, once again, going to find our phone caller on the line. Now, this is going to be the same person we've had all the way along.
Tony
That's Tony
Kendall.
TK Kendall. Let's see if he is there. And you guys can have another little chat about poker for the last time tonight, I'm afraid. Hopefully he'll come back again soon, but for tonight, this will be the last one.
Okay.
And once again, we've got Tony TK Kendall back on the line with us here for a little bit more poker knowledge from around the world. So how are you doing? You still there, Tony?
I'm still here, good and proper.
Good stuff.
Good to hear you again. Tony, can you perhaps take us to the Vic now? I believe you've got some news from there.
Yeah, it's the European Poker Classics this week. Wonderful festival. The first two events are in, and the winner of the £200 pot limit, which was a two-day competition starting on Saturday, 112 runners. First prize was a nudge short of 20,000. The gentleman I'm sure you know very well, Alan McLean. How about that?
Oh, I'm so pleased. I really rate Alan as a top tournament player.
How many comps has that man won, do you know?
I've known him for many years now. He's an ex-backgammon opponent of mine. And but he's a great guy, and I think he's a super tournament player.
Yeah, and very aggressive, very strong. He'll always bet his flop, and he'll always take his defeats with dignity. Wonderful man.
He is. He's a classy gent.
Gets better as he gets older. And then
He's a great.
Go on.
He's a great player. I find him very difficult when you're on the table with him.
It is difficult because there's no free cards ever. He doesn't give you a rest in the blinds. He doesn't let you see a flop. He just keeps going and going and going. And once he gets chips, and if he gets any sort of pair, he won't put it down.
He is absolutely fearless.
You know, there's no point messing around with this guy and trying to get him off hands. If he's got a pair of sixes and you set him in, he's going to call pretty damn quick.
That's right.
The thing is, he gets chips early, so he can afford to take these gambles.
I'd like to see him match Alan McLean against John Law, I think.
Well, wouldn't that be something? Well, talking about, actually, John's at his alt this week, I think. He got a minor place in. In the same comp, at the other end of the age scale, young Richard Grieco.
All right, I rate him highly.
Yeah, I don't like him because he calls me Gramps, but I'll take that apart. He's got some game on him. And bracelet winner Willie Tam was in 8th. Ash Hussain, who got second in Monte Carlo, was 9th. And down in the lower reaches was people like Joe Grech, Mickey Cook, and Jacarama.
Oh.
But last night there was a spectacular competition, the 750, which is a very, very good comp. And minor places went to people like Anders Berg from Norway, Burnley John, John Conroy, Mrs. Bambos, your friend John Lowe.
Oh, right, great.
He got 10th. Barry Neville was chip leader most of the way, chip leader with 10 or 11 left, went out 9th. Always likely to happen with young Barry. But
he's a great chip getter, though, isn't he, Barry?
Unbelievable. But the top four was quite spectacular. The guy called Danny Sampson finished fourth. Very unlucky. Danny's got it all in with Ace King against Ace Queen, and the guy with Ace Queen has caught a straight. He's flopped a straight, actually. And that's busted Dan. The guy that caught the straight with the dominated hand was one Julian Thu.
Oh, right.
In third place was a man you know quite well, John Kabach.
Yes, I know him very well for a long time.
John has picked up a pair of aces and played them a bit cute. And he's actually flopped an ace as well. But his opponent has turned the nut straight.
Oh.
Busted John. Guess who his opponent was?
Come on.
Julian Thu again.
Oh, my goodness.
Does that man bust aces or bust aces for a living?
He's a professional.
I mean, we call him lucky, but he does get his chips in. And in situations you and I might not do so. But
TK,
wow.
How can someone who looks so sweet and innocent be such a monster?
He is an absolute killer. And then he has the cheek to say to me, I said, so you won it? And he said, no, I got second. He said, I was terribly unlucky. I said, how can you be lucky after all of that? But he's actually flopped two pair, 10s and 5s, and a 10-9-5 all-club flop. And his opponent has got ace, queen of diamonds, so nobody's got a club between them. And he's got runner for the straight. The winner was a young man called Lawrence Mann, of all things. I think he won about 50 grand. Obviously a good player.
Is he a London player?
Yes, he is.
Do you know what? I've got a feeling I know this Lawrence. He's been around a long time. I believe that it's Lawrence who used to play some tennis.
That's the guy. That's the guy.
Yeah, well, I do know him. He's a bright guy, and I'm not surprised that he's turned his hand to tournament poker, I can tell you.
Will you be going to the Vic later this week?
I don't think I will be. I'm doing PNL virtually every night for this week.
And lucky Poker Night Live.
You must be a millionaire.
Oh, well, I just don't know what to do with the money. It's just incredible.
Thank you so much for talking to us, Tony. It's been great having you on the line.
As
and
ever,
hopefully we'll speak to you again soon.
It's been my pleasure.
Great. And we're going to go to a break now. So everyone else, please do stay tuned for more poker action here on Poker Night Live very soon.
Take care, TK.
Okay, Jay.
Hello and welcome back all to our final hour here on Poker Night Live.
Oh.
I know. Oh, very sad. But we've had lots of fun and we've got a whole hour left, so don't be dismayed. There's so much more good stuff to come, including loads and loads of emails, because lots of you have been getting in touch with us here about your poker questions and about some of your personal questions as well, but we'll get to that in a minute. First, we'll start with the poker, because I think, you know, being a poker show, it's a nice place to start. Right, this one is from Craig, a.k.a. Mackenzie Wolf. And Mackenzie Wolf says, hey, James and Kara, great show as usual. Thank you very much. I've been playing poker for a fair few months now, but only recently gotten into playing the larger multi-table tournaments. Mainly, of course, because of the increased coverage you guys have been giving the MTTs. Well, that's good to hear. Anyways, one hand on a particular final table has been bugging me recently. It was a $2.50 200-player MTT. We'd gotten down to 6 players, and I was sitting comfortably on about 90,000 chips. Pretty good considering at one point I didn't think I was going to last to the last 100 players until I hit some very lucky cards. I was on the big blind, which is about 2,000, the chip leader with about 100,000 on my left. I saw the flop with a couple of callers, including the leader. I was holding something along the lines of Queen 9. The particulars of this hand escaped me for some reason. I was getting quite late into the night at that point. Yeah, I can understand. Now I hit 2 pair and put in a small raise to get at least 1 caller for the ride. The chip leader calls, the rest fold. Next card comes down, a blank to me, but I had put him on a pair or a draw, so I decided to take it there and open with a large raise, my entire stack to be exact. He takes some time at calls, presenting to me his straight draw. I'm sure you've already guessed the ending to this story. He hits his card, and I go out in 6th position. I'd figured I would take the chips there and make us around even or double up and be favorite for the top prize, which was $118. Not a fantastic prize, I know, but larger than I'm used to winning. Perhaps it was a mistake to butt heads with the chip leader that late in the tournament, especially with a comfortable stack. So what do you guys think? Was it a blatant blunder, or was it a fair move to make, and I need to give myself more credit? Right, Mackenzie Wolf. So what do you think?
Well, just to recap what his initial move was with it. Did he say he put a small bet in initially?
He does, yeah. He said he
put in a small raise to get at least 1 call for the ride.
Yeah.
I think that's actually the bit. Basically, as I said, the time I'm going to be stressing this more and more tonight is, yet again, I think this is a case for it. You're in this situation here now. You're going along well here. Don't try and be too tricky at this stage. I think, you know, the blinds are still, you know, there's money in there. You also don't want to be particularly clashing with the guy who's got you covered, because he could knock you out. I would have actually not been putting in a small bet there. I'd have been originally announcing your strength straight away. I wouldn't be playing it too trickily at that stage. So I would either check it, let someone bet and come over the top immediately with a really big raise, or I would bet out very strong initially. But I would not be trying to get them to come along for the ride, because that is not the right thinking there. You want to be still giving them a power punch and taking down that pot before you get the showdown.
Okay, well there you go. Because if you think about it, I mean, top card is the lowest way to win. Then you've got a pair, and then you've got 2 pair. So even with 2 pair, you're really at kind of the lower end of that triangle.
And it's possible that someone could be have a queen with a bigger kicker, then the board pairs up another way, you know, a 10 and 10, or maybe hits their kicker. There's a few ways out. But anyway, at that stage, I'd still be happy to take down chips. So either play it quiet, hope for a bet, and then re-raise, or strong bet straight away there. You're in the latter stages there. Don't try and be too cute. You need to have an even bigger hand if you want to be cute.
Okay. Well, there you go. Don't be cute. Leave that to the experts. Right. I've got an email here from Sam, a.k.a. Loomis, who's one of our regulars as well. Hiya, Sam. He says, I called the flop with Jack 8 because the flop didn't look too dangerous, and I called fast to make it look like I was on a draw. And when the river brought a flush and a straight, I bet it. So I didn't think I was winning with Jack 8, but I called with the intention of bluffing. Now this is Sam, or Loomis, giving an explanation of a play that he made earlier on. Was it in the MTT, or?
No,
or was
yes, it was in the money game.
It was in the cash game, wasn't it?
I believe. But I remember it was Jack 8 of spades. Yes, well, I described that's what you... I'll start with, I wondered why you were calling. And then after that, I did say, I forecast what you were going to do, actually, if you remember. I did say, I think, are you going to represent you've had the queen there? And the other guy had ace-jack, I believe. He'd made 2 pairs, and you put in $12, I think it was, and you took down the pot. So, yes, it was good imaginative play. My one thing to you, Loomis, was I did think you then started to make too many plays. And I think it's great to be able to see the window of opportunity to make these flair plays, as I will call them. However, if you overdo it, it becomes very difficult to make them work, because eventually people start to become suspicious, and it's hard for you to make them put their hands down. So, good flair, good imagination, but be careful not to overdo it.
Good advice. Okay, well, we have one more email here. This one's quite funny, actually. It's quite cute. It's half directed at me and half directed at you. This is from Tragic Trev, but it looks like it was from Tragic Trev, Macnoy, Dogman, and Gare all together. So they must be doing a home game somewhere or something.
Ah, right.
And they just wanted to compliment me on my hair. I did have it cut. Thanks for noticing. And no, I haven't had Botox, just so that you know, because he does ask. And he says to you, James, that he hears that there's a bit of a fight on for Flirty Liz, and he says, bring it on.
I know, I can explain this to you.
Really? Because I've heard.
What happened was, Flirty Liz, she emailed the show last night, and she said that she was pleased to have me back, because she hadn't seen me for a while, etc., etc. Then, she said that she'd been playing in a game with Tragic Trev, and Tragic Trev had his hand on her knee all the time.
That's shocking.
So I said last night, because Tragic Trev always wants to play me heads-up poker, so that's it. I announced to the public, Tragic Trev, we're going to get it on, it's heads-up, and the prize is Flirty Liz. That's it. The game is on.
Well, number one, I don't think Tragic Trev's wife would be too happy about that. But, you know, bring it on. Let's see it. Let's do it here in the studio. Exactly. We get Flirty Liz in and everything. I like it very much. Yeah, a little bit of love, a little bit of a love connection. It's not, you know, Valentine's Day is come and gone, but still. Why not? We like a little bit of a love connection. Right, shall we do one more email?
Yeah, go on.
Shall we do? Okay. This one is from, let's see, I believe we've got a nice long one for you. From Craig. And Craig said, oh, no, we've done Craig. Sorry about that. I believe it's from Colin, not Craig. And it's another nice long one. Right, it says, hi, Karen James. I'm enjoying the show as always. I wondered what comments you might have on a hand I played last night. But don't worry, it's not a bad beat story. Thank goodness for that. Right, I was playing the early stages of a $5 sit and go, and the blinds were still at the first level of 20 and 40. I'd managed to increase my stack to 2,500 from a start of 2,000, and I got dealt Queen 9 offsuit in the small blind. Ooh, danger signs. Cass keeps telling me never, just be careful what you do in the small blind because it's almost never a good idea. Right, he says, 3 players limped into me, so I decided to make up the blind and try and see a cheap flop. I got my way when the big blind checked. The flop comes 9-3 ace rainbow. I've hit middle pair and bet the pot 200. They all fold to the button, who raises me to 400. I guess he's probably got an ace, but it's only 200 to call, and I'm getting 4-1 for my chips with the pot at 800, so I call. The turn is an 8, a nothing card, and we both check. The river brings a queen. I've now hit 2 pair with only 1 overcard and decide to bet the pot of 1,000. I'm a bit shocked when he raises me all in for 1,800. I do have his stack covered, but only just, so a call is obviously putting my life in the tournament at serious risk. But on the other hand, a double through this early in the 6-handed game gives me an excellent expectation to make the money or to win. I deliberated as long as possible and eventually found the nerve to call. I found myself as well as being very relieved, but slightly surprised when he showed ace-6 and not ace-queen. I did go on to win the tourney, but after reviewing the hands later, as I always do, I can't decide if this play would have been a good long-term expectation or if I was being a bit of a bone-dogger, as Casper would put it. Sorry if this is too long-winded, but any thoughts on this are appreciated, and that is from Colin. So what do you think? Was in the long term, would that have been a good
Well, okay, you made up the small blind with the queen 9, you got your wish, and the big blind didn't raise. So, but you're against 3 people. So already we need to hit this flop in a decent way with the queen 9. Well, you've hit the 9, the flop came over 9-3 ace, so you've hit the middle pair, but you've got the middle pair with the queen kicker. So this is not really that strong. Okay, you've put a bet out there. I might even not put a bet out there and just be prepared to get out of this hand if someone else bets. But anyway, you've tried the other way. You've bet with middle pair against 3 people. But then someone has now re-raised you. Well, bye-bye to the hand there. Your hand is not that good. And I think basically you should have passed. You asked the question, you put the bet in 200, you were raised. He's telling you that he's got a hand, he's quite happy about it, and you called. Well, he did have a hand, he had the ace. And that's virtually what his re-raise was telling you, but you just ignored it. And if you keep on ignoring it, in the long run, I think you're going to come out on the wrong side of that deal, calling that raise. As it happens, you got fortunate on the river, and you hit your queen, and also your opponent there played it a bit weakly and didn't charge you enough on the turn. So if you know that he's that bad and he's going to play weakly, you might say he might make mistakes. But in the long run, I think you're wrong not listening to the question which you asked. You bet 200, that was a question. He raised you, that was the answer. You didn't listen to the answer. Long run, I think you should have passed.
And there you go. That's what we think here in the studio. But if you think something else, or if indeed you have comments or questions about something that you've seen on tonight's show, or about your own games at home, let us know. We're still on until the end of the hour anyway, so you can still get in touch with us here and we will answer your questions if we can. You can text them on 62211. Or if you'd like to take your time and explain things in a bit more detail, send us an email, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And in fact, if any of you that I was playing against in my tournament want to send in an email, feel quite welcome to, because I'd love to hear from you and what you were thinking while you were playing as well. There you go. Now, I do believe we're going back to our multi-table tournament because we should be getting down to the end of that very quickly.
Good.
So let's take a look. I think we're down to the last 5, so it should be quite exciting. Yes. Ooh, here we go. Look at that. Pigeonhead is still in there.
Yeah, well, he had a good stack of chips and he's kept them, but we've got a new leader there, and it's Solgills. 57,000. Well, 60 actually. He's got 3 in the middle for his big blind. And Buffy Be Good has gone all in. Been called by the pair of 9s. Been raised by the ace-king suited. What an action hand we've just joined here. Solgills has gone 10-4 jack. Pidge needs he needs a queen or an ace. He's got the ace. There's a flush draw there for sport.
Oh, and Buffy Be Good all in.
Buffy Be Good with queen jack. Needs to see a king.
No.
Doesn't get it. And Pidge retakes the lead, and we lose Buffy Be Good.
Yeah, Buffy Be Good goes home with $92. So well done, Buffy Be Good.
Yes, just next time, Buffy be better.
Oh, get you.
Solgills 7-6. Decides to limp in. Has got chips, however. There's another little limpy bet. Trying to... It's got a flush draw. Don't think that figure's right for, obviously, what Sport put in there? No.
No.
The Sport had all those chips there. Solgles was trying to slow Sport down by that bet to have a free shot at basically, or a cheap shot at the flush draw. But it didn't work. Sport asked a question and Solgles quite correctly put it down. Ooh, trip 10s for is it Infin?
Yeah, Infin one.
In Finland.
Down to the final 4. Now, they would have been playing this game for a good couple of hours now, so
Oh, definitely.
focus would be quite important at this point. Not losing their focus.
How much does 4th get?
Let me just tell you that right now. 4th, indeed, will get $109. That's not so bad. That's $17 more than 5th place. Actually, and between 3rd and 4th, there's a $34 difference.
Oh.
So it's a fair difference. Whoever goes out next is not going to be as happy.
Infant raises to 6,000, 3 with the ace 10. Pidge, 3,000 to call. There's 10,000 in the middle there, can call this and does so. But look at this. Infant has flopped the top straight. Ace, king, queen, jack 10. Can you believe it? And Pidge has, of course, got the top pair and a backdoor flush draw. Infant puts 9,000. Pidge raises. Oh my goodness,
Oh
Infant's
boy.
all in, got all his money in with the top straight, and whoa, back in the game. And Pidge has taken quite a hammering there. Gone from chip leader down to 3rd.
Yeah.
Wowee, what a beautiful flop for Infant.
Nice
Flopping the
reversal
straight.
of fortune, that. Let's see if you can hold on to that that nice win there. Yeah. Well, the blinds are at 1,500 and 3,000, so that's nothing nothing to sniff at, really. If you can steal the blinds,
No, it's very nice.
all to the better.
4,500,
Yeah, all to the better. Pair of 10s for Pigeon Head.
Of course, if you look at, say, Sport there, he's got 23,000. So if you look at 4,500 in relation to that, that's a significant percentage increase when if he takes the blinds down. Right, Pidge at king 4. I don't think he'll play with that. But what about Infant with ace 7 on the button? Is he going to ask the question?
Would you risk it?
Yes, I would. I would pressure the blind there.
It just goes to show a hand like this around the table, not much there, that really it is entirely random. And when you're playing against fewer people, you can really afford to lower your starting standards because the quality of the hand is going to be less.
Yeah, much less. Because you just imagine, it's just the fact is, you just got to put it into perspective. You know, if you were sat at home and said, right, Kara, I want you to deal 10 pairs out, pairs of hands, and you deal them out, and imagine what the best hand is you're going to see. Now just sit there and say, just pick out, I want you to deal 4 hands out, and imagine what the best hand is. Just imagine what difference this makes. And this is the way we've got to think about it.
We just lost August. King, Queen
There we
against
go.
Queen, Queen.
King, Queen against Queen, Queen.
Yeah,
And the Queen, Queen had even a club as an insurance
just
on
in
the
case.
turn when there were 3 clubs there and stood up to beat the Kings. Of course, the Kings there only had the 3 outs, and that was 3 Kings.
Down to the final 3.
But not 3 Kings, only had 2 because the King of Clubs was no good because it would have given the Queens a flush.
True.
So only had 2 outs. And Infant's got, yes, he's raised it from the small blind, made it 6,000, made Sport pass, and that's good. Got the chips and pressured, starving the the small blind, the small stacked player there, because the Infant can now, he can look at the two opponents and say, they might actually be thinking a bit about getting second rather than third. What's third get?
Third gets $143.
And second gets?
$230.
Right, so there's quite a big difference there.
Nearly
so now
$100.
he can say, you two are watching each other. So now he can take advantage of this and start pressurizing. Okay. Now he could pressurize Sport here again. Oh, he just made up the blind. Okay. Oh, now well, I would be interested to know what happened if he'd really committed Sport to the hand.
Yeah.
Sport now bets. He's got a number missing there. It's actually 14,000 he's put in there, not 4,000.
Yeah, I think it's hiding behind the white of the table.
Oh, right. Camouflage.
Yeah. Ooh, well done, Sport.
But it hasn't altered the balance of the table. Those two are still battling it out, and Sport is still lagging behind in third place at the moment. Infinity now said, okay, I'll let you two fight each other. And Sport waxing the steel against Pidge. Very imaginative play there with his 8-2. And the game's becoming quite tactical now. It's not just about the hands you're getting, it's about position and about pressurizing players. Yeah,
you've got to have those nerves of steel.
Yes. And Pidge has got nerves of steel. He's just raised it up with a pair of threes. Infant, I think, will pass this. And Sport might commit here.
I would think so. He's only raised it.
No, he passes.
Okay. It wasn't a massive raise. It was only 2 times a big blind, so...
Well, it's worrying times because the round is costing 6,000 and Sport's only got 17. He's really got to be pushing now.
Oh gosh, yeah, you're absolutely right. That's
Another hand's gone by.
Wow. And
it's his big blind next. That's another 4 coming off his stack. I think he should have even considered with his King 7 before. It might have had to be. I know. I'm not okay. If he's gonna make a bet soon, I'll forgive him. But because I know it's still, even with this amount, it's still better to be betting than calling. But now he's virtually gone past the chance where you can hope to get people to pass.
Yeah.
He's gone up and down straight there with a king. But Infant's got the real hand. He's got a pair. And he's also got a middle pin for a straight. He's got 2 pairs now. But look at that. It's given Sport the straight.
Oh, it has
6,
as
7,
well.
8, 9, 10. So it's 2 pairs. He's going to get paid. There we go. We're doing a bigger straight now. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Only 5 cards, obviously. So it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. And that worked well for him there.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got back in it.
And it's hurt Infinity. That's definitely done.
Okay, pair of 6s now for Sport. And now rejuvenated by that pot, he's cranked it up to 12,000. Asking Pidge the question. And Pidge says, no thanks. The battle continues.
It certainly does.
Right, Pidge, yes, he's made it 8. 4 with 4.
You don't think he should make it 3 times a big blind as a standard raise?
Well, at this stage here, when these big blinds here, they're more or less a raise and a raise here. They just, it's... They seem to be getting away with this level. They've accepted that this is the sort of raises they're going to put in, just more or less the flat raise. And
yeah. Okay. Well, they're definitely chipping away at Infinity's stack there.
Yeah, he was at 111, wasn't he? So he's down to 86, but he is still chip leader. So they're the ones who've got to bother. In fact, if they add their chips together, they haven't got as much as him.
Yeah, good point.
Or just about, no, so they've just overtaken him now, but it's very close. Ace, King, Queen, so it's a king for Infant, and A queen for sport. Hope for sport's sake it doesn't go spade, spade, because you'll be in big trouble. Right. Just surrenders it's there. It's a small blind. Infant broken the 90 barrier again. Well, there's a real hand for sport.
Aha. Pair of nines when you're three-handed. That's quite good.
And he's made it a bigger bet there.
Oof.
I think that's okay.
Yeah, 6,000. It's a nice pot to take.
Yeah, very nice.
It's gonna a few of those, and he'll actually be out in front of Pigeon Head. Oh, by the way, we've had an email back from Tragic Trev.
Okay.
He wants to make it clear that it wasn't his hand on Flirty Liz's knee.
Ah.
Interesting table you guys have been sitting around, is all I've got to say.
Well, that was just the information I was given last night, Trev, so... Whose hand was it?
Curiouser and curiouser. I'm just glad it wasn't Tragic Trev's, because he does have his own young lady. I would have been shocked and appalled.
Okay. Maybe he's having to say that.
No. Shocking. No, of course not. I won't believe it. Not of Tragic Trev with the voice of an angel.
So you're actually calling Flirty Liz a fibber?
No, I'm saying maybe she didn't see whose hand it was under the table,
You're
but it wasn't Tragic Trev's.
maybe Flirty Liz was mistaken.
Yes, this is what I'm saying. Mistaken. Maybe she's trying to stir up a little bit of controversy.
Maybe she's trying to make me jealous.
You know what? That could be very much the case. Did it work?
Well, saying it was Tragic Trev.
That did work.
I'm not sure if it made me jealous, but maybe it niggled me.
Ah, that's just only a couple of steps below jealous.
Is it?
It niggled. Okay. Well, thanks for clearing that up, Tragic Trev. I was worried.
Well done, Trev, last night in your performance in the cash game. Very impressive. Did you play by yourself, or was someone giving you a hand?
Well, Sport is definitely catching up to Pigeon, and they're both catching up to Infinity, so we just don't know how this game is going to turn out.
It's levelling out, isn't it?
It is, it definitely is.
And we've got a real hand for Sport. He's got that pair of nines again. And what's he going to do here? Oh, look at this! He's ping trips. Now let's see how he plays it. Is he going to play deceptively here? He does,
yeah.
He just calls it. It's a great time to be deceptive. He's got a fantastic hand. Rainbow flop. He's done. Oh, he could have carried it on another bit. He could have carried it on longer. He could have carried it on longer. He didn't have to snap the trigger on the turn there.
Yeah. Maybe he was afraid of what
That was
might
a time
show
you
up.
could have left the door open for Infinity maybe to make two pair.
Yeah.
He'd have got all his chips.
It always feels a bit dangerous, I think.
Yeah, but it was a rainbow flop.
That's true. Yeah.
And sometimes, when you have a big hand, then I think it's good to play deceptively to really try and make the killer blow when you've got a big one.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture. Most times you're happy to take pots down, but if the makeup is right, you can sometimes then try and lay the trap.
Get a bit more.
Lay the trap.
Draw them into your web.
Because at this stage, you're going to have to kill someone here as well, aren't you? So.
Yeah, the three of them are sort of doing a bit of a balancing act here. And I think if they're not careful, one of them is definitely going to overtake Infinity in the lead here. I think so. Sport's got a better pair. And there you go.
Well, look at this. Infinity's gone from leader to trailer.
Yeah.
How things change.
It's very true. Sometimes you get a run of bad cards, sometimes a run of bad luck, sometimes a run of bad judgment.
Top pair for Sport. Makes it 8. Pot of 16. Pidge passes. And Sport's broken the 100 barrier. Wow. Flush draw for Pidge. Ace, deuce of spades. He's got whacked it all in, and he's been called by the... Oh, and look at that, on the river. A spade for Pidge, gives him the flush. An infant now. There it is, made the flush. Infant had the made hand, he had the 10. The spade came to save Pidge on the river. And Infant now is really in trouble. Mm-hmm. It's life or death. He's got 7-3. It looks like death, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Whoa.
And off he goes.
There he is, 3-7, didn't connect at all. King 7 didn't connect either, but of course the king was good enough.
Mm-hmm. And we are head to head.
Heads up with Richard Herring.
Where? Who? He's not under the desk, I've looked. There we go. Well, while they're battling it out, and the rest of us are watching on the edges of our seats, our collective seats.
Yeah, definitely. Just made up the small blind there, Sport. He's got 10 queen. He's hit the 10, and Pidge is bet 4. Sport's just called. He's playing tricky again. Ah, but no more betting there from Pidge. And Sport takes it down. 10 Jack. What we're going to see from Pidge here? A bit of a bet. No, just made it up. He's hit the 10. Bets 4. Sport's going to pass, I believe. He does. Ace 10 for Pidge there, makes it up to 12. Bad cards for Sport, he passes that. Again, correctly. $10,000, wow.
Yeah.
And we're going to see something here. Yes, it's Orlinsky from Pidge, and he takes it. Well, he's narrowing the gap again. He's back to 69.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't want to be bullied.
Ace 9 queen.
Ooh.
Top pair for Sport. Pidge checks, up to Sport. Makes it 8. Pidge passes.
Mm-hmm. I'll have those chips back. Thank you very much, Sport. Thanks. King 7 there for Sport, and Jack 9 for Pigeonhead. Pigeonhead decides to give it a bit of a raise. Sport raises back, knocks him off the pot. Well, this could be interesting as well. Jack 10 against Jack 8.
And represents a hand there from Pidge. Ooh, and look at that. With nothing, does the re-raise from Sport. A very good example of using position. Had the button. He thought it was a rather weakish-looking bet. Came back over the top. Very nice play.
Very nice. Well done.
Pidge passes. And we can see there's really a lot of play in these finals here, which is really good.
Yeah, it certainly does give them a bit of scope for... it's not just all in versus all in. All in versus all in.
It becomes quite a tactical battle, which is really good. Oh, what's going on here? And it's kings and eights. Look at that. He's retaken the lead, Pidge. What a battle. There he is. He's had a pair of eights against ace 5. And the pair of eights was good enough. King Queen. I think we're going to see something from Sport with this one. Yep, he's made it 8. Up to Pidge with King 6. He's called. Back to Sport. He hasn't connected, but he's bets 8. Pidge passes. And the lead switches yet again. Pidge makes it 8,000 with King 5. Takes down the blinds. What a battle we have in here. Sport, Jack 4. Makes it 12. Good enough. Sport gets the blinds yet again. Raises to 12. Pidge says no. Edging towards the 100 barrier again, Sport. Raise, 5-6, Pidge. Ooh, look at this. He's got a pair of sixes and a flush draw. Sport, no connection. 8,000, you can't call that one. Pidge feeling very happy with that result. Raise from King 3. Oh, and he's made the king, but Pidge has got nothing. Don't think he's going to take part. Nope. Sport, 100 barrier broken, 102,000. Blinds up now, 3,000, 6,000. And even still, Pidge has still got play there. He's got 61,000, still got some play.
I wonder how much they win. I'm trying to find out what the prizes are for first and second in this MTT.
Didn't you say it was two?
I think it's 4 something.
The second was 234.
234. That sounds about right. And so first.
I'm not sure. I just seem to remember that.
Yeah, yeah. It's a nice pot, anyways. I've been sat here trying to work it out, and I'm afraid it's a bit late for me, and I've lost it. Ooh, King 4 against King 5.
Small blind Sport with 6 deuce. Nope. But Pidge is getting whittled away here slightly.
Yeah,
Sport's up to 126. Well, he might have a chance here with Jack King.
When we were four-handed, Sport was actually the smallest stack and looking like he was in a bit of trouble.
Yes, quite right. And look, we've got the contest here. But not much of one, and that's got Pidge back in it again. Took it down. King 7 against 7 deuce. Pidge is back to 70. Oops. Oh. Pidge surrenders. Let's the ace have the chips. Raised by Sport. Oh, and look what he's got here. He's got a flush draw and a middle pin straight draw. And Pidge has got the deuce. So he's got a pair. So Pidge is actually winning, but Sport's got a lot of outs. He's bet 12,000. I think Sport's going to call here. He doesn't make it, though. Now, what's going to happen? Is he going to try and steal it? Is he going to try and steal it? He's definitely thinking. No, he doesn't.
Too dangerous, I guess.
So, look at that. The lead has swung right round, and now Pidge is in the 100,000.
Oh, go Pidge.
Now this shows us a lot of play here, the very fact that we've seen the lead swap back and forward and still people have been able to play.
Yeah, exactly, without feeling pressure to go all in, without...
So it shows how much play there has been in this structure.
Yeah, very true.
Right, we've got a flush draw for Sport, but we've got the real hand for Pidge. Oh, and the flush comes.
Oh boy.
So it's jacks and 7s for Pidge, and it's a flush, and he's gone all in, but Pidge passes.
Yeah, I think Pidgeon was going to try and slowly pull him into that pot there. Didn't realise how much danger he would have been if that had happened. Right, at some point we're going to see one of these, one of them getting the best hand, one of them getting the second best hand.
Yeah.
And battling it out for that.
Yeah, it's just an
Biding their
amazing
time.
battle. Here we go.
Biding their time, yep.
Pair of fives. What's he going to do? He makes it 21. Oops, he's getting tired now. He decided to chunk it up a bit. And he's called with deuce 10. My goodness, I think they must be getting tired now.
Yeah.
12,000 for the pair of fives.
Oh.
Wow, a bit calling with 210. The size, that bet size.
Black mark for you.
Bet like that. Wow. Yeah, black mark. I mean, yeah, dead right. Yeah.
Well, while they're battling it out, do you have time for a quick email?
Yes.
Right, I've got one.
I'll keep my eye on this while.
Yeah, do and break
I'll
in
say
if it's.
halt. Right, carry on.
Right, Tragic Trev and Mackinoy Dan have gotten back to us again. It's not about Flirty Liz this time. Oh.
2 pairs for sport, and an up and down straight for Pidge. And he's still there, but he's not going to be there anymore. Okay, carry on, sorry.
Okay. They've said, hi, Kara and James 007. Just a quick question. Currently playing in a $20 no-limit rebuy multi-table tournament. I don't know, this might be one of the... I think the regulars are actually having their own private multi-table tournament, which is quite cool. Hopefully we'll get to see that at some point. Anyways, it's coming up to the time where we can add on another 1,500 chips for another $20. Do you think this is a good strategy? If you're well stacked, been playing well, and have had some decent hands, would it make sense to have the extra chips behind you? Also, if you bust out, would it be worth buying back in for another $20 to get another 1,500 chips and start all over again? Thanks for all your help and wisdom.
Oh, thanks for a nice email.
Yeah, lovely.
Regarding the rebuy, I think it's almost certainly going to be correct to rebuy because as people have been rebuying, there is more money in the pot anyway. And as long as they're giving you a reasonable starting stack, which they are, you've still got a bit of play left. But the matter is just to see if it's right at the end there, how many blinds there are. But what you can do in these, you can rebuy and add on. The ratio for the add-on is, I want to be increasing my stack by at least a third. So therefore, if I've got 6,000 chips and the rebuy is 2,000, I'm on the cusp of whether I'm going to add on or not.
Gotcha.
Because a 2,000 is a third of my 6,000.
Yeah.
So on that one, I'd say is just an add-on. If I had 7,000 chips, I wouldn't have the add-on. If I had 5,000 chips, I definitely would have the add-on.
Okay.
So that would be my little guideline for whether to have the add-on or not.
Good rule of thumb.
And I think that is a pretty good guideline. If one wants to be really thorough about it, one would be really checking the average chip stacks around the table, etc., etc. Also, you would take into account what the chips were like on your individual table. And even if you had a good stack there, if you happened to be balanced in such a way that your table were very well chipped up, you might feel it necessary to have the add-on on yours just so you weren't getting bullied by people on your table.
Yeah.
That would be an exception. But for a nice rule of thumb, I think as long as you're increasing your original stack by at least a third, it's correct to have the add-on. Less than that is probably not worth it.
What if you bust out right towards the end of the rebuy period? Would you actually buy back in,
well,
even considering
in
everyone
that case,
else?
It'll probably be correct to have the buy-in and then have the add-on, because you won't have enough chips. Because you'll have bought in for the 2,000, say, and then it comes to add-on. Well, it's now correct to add on my principle anyway.
Okay.
So as long as your bankroll withstands it, which you should have already looked at before you've entered a rebuy tournament, in that case, it's probably right to have the rebuy and the add-on.
Cool. Great advice. Do you want another one? I've got an email here from John Paul.
Yes. Let's just have a look at one hand here again.
Certainly.
We've got a raise here from 3-2 from Pidge. That's why. Oh, he's taking it down. Yes, carry on.
Okay, John Paul says, great show as always, guys. I hear about these bad beats and bad beat stories, so I thought I'd buck the trend and tell you about my tournament last night.
1 sec.
Oh, yes.
This looks like a battle.
Oh, it does as well. Queen.
King Jack against King Queen. It just feels like it.
It does.
And Pidge is all in.
Oh, boy.
And there it is. We have a winner.
Wow.
It felt like the battle. It was the battle. Sport, who at one time was trailing the field of 4, has come out victorious. He actually didn't make anything on the final hand, but he had the hand 10-10 ace king queen, which beat 10-10 ace king jack.
There we go.
Well played to both of you. I thought that was a really great protracted battle you had.
Yes.
Good to watch. And well done, both of you.
Yeah, well done, and well done especially to you, Sport, as the winner there of the multi-table tournament. Very nicely done. And
well done the people who put that tournament together, because I think it's got a great structure, and to see so much play in a final table is just brilliant to watch.
It makes it a lot more interesting. Definitely. Okay, we've got a few minutes left, only about 5 minutes left. So we're going to do 2 more emails, if we can fit them in. If not, I am sorry, but we will hopefully get to them again tomorrow night. Now, John Paul says, great show as always, guys. Thanks very much. I always hear about these bad beats and bad beat stories, so I thought I would buck the trend and tell you about my tournament last night. After getting pocket aces cracked in the second hand and losing half my stack, I played solidly well until after half an hour of play, I was chip leader. Well done. I decided that I was always try to stay chip leader. Well, if it was so easy that you just have to decide to stay chip leader, I'd always be chip leader. After an hour, I had over a quarter of the chips in play. It seemed every call I made paid me out. It was great. To test out my theory, I decided to take on an all-in raise of about 7,000 chips with 3-7 off, and made a run and cracked pocket aces myself. Well done. I don't know if that was, well, anyways, as good as my luck was, and as far as chip leader, I was at the second break. I ended up finishing 5th out of 230 players, winning a nice $600. Decided to try my luck again tonight, and so far I'm second out of 290 players with 10,000 chips, compared to 3rd place with 4,000. Wish me luck. Good luck, John Paul. That's a nice story. Well done.
Yes, got a bit adventurous, I think, with the funny call, but still you're playing with confidence. Anyway, good luck tonight.
Okay, well, let's see if we can squeeze in this last one here. This is an email from Kev. Kev says, James, last night when you saw 3 of hearts on the board and said it's 118 to 1 to flop a flush, I think you should have folded. If 3 hearts come down on the flop, the odds that one of your 2 opponents having a flush is 12 to 1. It's 118 to 1 of flopping a flush, but once you see a flop of 3 hearts, it's much less. If you were only up against one person, it would be 24 to 1. So I started to lose myself here with all these odds. From the remaining 47 cards, if you've not got any hearts, it's 10 to 47 or 9 out of 46. I remember that you were initially up against either 2 or 3 people, so I think it was reasonably likely that someone had flopped a flush. Statistically, it was 12 to 1 that someone flopped a flush if there were 2 opponents, but if you consider that people play more suited hands than unsuited hands, and the fact that someone had bet and then been re-raised substantially, I think that makes it very likely he had a flush. It was also early stages and a big risk to take, I think. What do you think, James? But great show, by the way, and thank you for the tips. There we go, from Kev.
Right, this was an interesting one. I think I had a pair of 9s. I actually played it very quietly. I didn't actually, my hand didn't make a straight until actually the final card. I still didn't bet. The guy who actually made the flush had flopped the flush. He had not bet on the flop. He had not bet on the turn. And he was in last position. So therefore, he played it very cute. And he had disguised his hand, so he played it deceptively. I still, even though I made my straight on the river, checked. I checked thinking that maybe there was weakness out there, and I expected probably one person to maybe try a bluff. Bang, someone makes a bet in late position, which I was half expecting, thinking, well, maybe they think no one's got anything, they're going to make a steal. Then the person who actually had made the flush came over the top. Now, as far as I'm concerned there, he might well just have, he might have the flush, he might have the 9, he might have trips, it's possible, but he didn't charge enough to take all my chips from me anyway. So therefore, I thought it was, I could have put it down. It was a difficult situation, but because he didn't charge me enough, and I didn't expect the first person to re-raise him, that's why I actually called it. But I agree with you, Mass, about the, I'm talking about one person. If you've got suited cards, your chance of making a flush on the flop is 118 to 1. And yes, I agree with the chances of different people, but still 12 to 1 is still quite a long shot as well. So that's why I did it. Hope that helped.
There we go. Hope that helped. Now, tomorrow night, make sure you tune in because it'll be Nick and Emma. Not met Emma myself, so be nice or send lots of emails in. Hopefully Nick will find some money to play with because I've used all his. Thanks very much for watching and good night.